Let's do it.
Hello and welcome to episode 2000. I just said 2001. Welcome to the year 2001, episode
2001.
201.
Things are better. Things are better. Things are happy. It's a happy time.
Well,
or 2008, where we get to see some shaking of fantasies.
Can you believe that was the year that Shake Your Fantasy came out? 12 short years ago. The world was rocked by Shake Your Fantasy.
Never the same.
Really changed the world. Not for the better, I would say, apparently. Datto, welcome to the show.
You guys not tweet that you're live from the DCP Twitter?
I was looking for that hot retweet, Mr.
Look, we're playing it fast and loose here.
Hit the fatty RT on this.
We don't control the social medias. That's not
we have very specific jobs. We are limited in our power.
Manually type this like a pleb.
Fran, welcome back to the show. It's been too long. Good to see you.
It's awesome to be back. Yeah. Always
all I hear about is where's Fran? Where's Fran? Frankie? Where's Fran Mirabella? Where's Fran? I need
really?
People want you back all the time.
The spreadsheets, the interruptions. Well, I'm happy to be back.
Power per
People
hour.
Making fun of you is part of the charm.
But now we need to make fun of Teft. He's gone. So now I'm actually coming in at a great time without Teft here to lecture me. We can just make fun of Teft like for weeks to come now. So
it's a rare thing because Tefty, without a doubt, by a long shot, has the best attendance record on DCP.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if it's the fact that he streams it, so he feels a slight more obligation. Whereas they're like, my throat's a little tickly. Gonna go lay down. Good luck.
Yeah. Seriously, I got worried about him actually, and I'm so proud that he's taking some time off.
My Tic Tac was bigger than usual. I'm gonna take the day off. Datto, good to see you as always. How you been?
I'm back. Hi. Sorry, viewers, but I'm here again.
Sorry. It's always exciting when Datto's here. I got lucky.
No, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Hanging in there.
How you been doing? Like what does content look like in the summer of 2020 for Datto?
Oh man, let me
Your house
tell you
is pretty packed these days.
About the content. Yeah. No, Jez and Amy moved in as part of our charity incentive goal. So we've been doing that for I want to say about 2-3 weeks now.
That was a charity incentive? I didn't realize that.
$50,000 charity incentive. They were going to move in. And because they're like sort of in a transitionary period with their apartment situation, so I was just like, you can just come here like while you figure that out.
Well, they picked the best time to move to America.
So they're super stoked on it.
They're excited.
So
it's try not to cry.
It's been the it's been the content house over here, and we fortunately have enough space where we can have kind of like our own little sections of the house. One more room or a basement or something would have been nice, but what can you do? But it's been good. It's been nice having like multiple people in like a work area again, because it's been, I mean, besides Danielle, I have not worked around other people in 7-8 years or something like that.
Hard, right? Like
yeah. I kind of miss that like office environment and being able to like, chat with other people and ping pong off of other people and just kind of chat ideas and stuff like that. So in that sense, it's been actually very, very refreshing to have more people around in a workspace, even though it's my house. So yeah, it's been going very, very smoothly. I think it has. I don't know. Maybe they have a different opinion, but it's been going pretty smooth.
Well, he's going to be the guest next week, and he'll dish all the dirt.
Nice.
It is a weird thing about content creation that, like, when it comes down to it, you are sitting in a room alone, talking into a microphone, possibly looking into a camera. But like for years on end, that can be a lonely thing. So to have somebody else in the house, especially who's doing the same thing you're doing, like that's got to be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice because like we all kind of understand like what we're all going through with content creation and all that. But yeah, I mean, like when I was by myself in Los Angeles, like I was getting to a point where I was like, dude, this sucks. Like when Like I just felt trapped all the time, and just yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why I moved up to Seattle in the first place, is to kind of just escape that zone where I'm just like, I don't know anybody at all. Like, even if I did know, like, even up here, like, we can't go anywhere really, but like, even when we could, it was just nice knowing that I had the option to hang out with people if I wanted to. Whereas in Los Angeles, no option. Like, I legit did not know anyone, and to go to somewhere where I knew people involved an airplane. So it was definitely a struggle being in LA, but it's definitely a very very big change of pace with Jez and Amy in the house. But at the same time, just kind of feels like normal. Took a couple of days to get used to it, and then back to normal. So, yeah.
Awesome. What do you? I'm curious. What are you playing between now and November? Do you have a plan? Like, is there any change of plan because Destiny, isn't going to come out maybe?
That's right.
Well, a lot of the things that I thought were going to be coming out in November, assuming that they're coming out in November, I can't really cover those things anymore. A lot of people ask me like, "Hey, you're going to still play Cyberpunk even though it comes out a week after Destiny?" I was like, "What do you think, my guy?"
Yeah,
probably not. This month I'm wrapping up like any last like grand Destiny videos that I might be working on, and working on charity incentives. So for example, next week Danielle, Jez, and myself are starting fresh characters on D1. We're gonna try and build them up over a few weeks, and run the raids. And and then otherwise September, October is just gonna be like taking it a little bit easier than I have been. Try and hit some single player games, some non-Destiny stuff, just so I can kind of be fresh for November, because once November hits, it's until the end of the year nonstop until you run out of stuff, and then by that time you're already seeing what the next season's going to be. So just kind of taking it easy. Yeah.
This is our 5th year of Destiny, right? So like everybody's been through these content cycles before. Have you learned any like tricks of like, when to take vacations, when to just kind of like, obviously you're gearing up for November.
Yeah.
Will you just not play the game for a month before that, or will you?
I mean, I generally speaking, I slow down a lot of my play. I mean, this week I've been going pretty hard just to make sure I get all of my Solstice armor on all my characters done. So that way I can just be like, I'm done, and there's nothing else that I would like to do right now on this game. And I can feel comfortable playing other things, because I have this mentality that if I don't feel like I'm done with everything that I need to do on Destiny, whether it's actual characters or content, I don't feel comfortable playing other things on stream or for videos, because I feel like I'll get too distance. I get too much distance from the Destiny stuff that I need to do, and then I just fall behind, and then it's like, oh, you haven't uploaded a video in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I like to get to a point where I feel like I'm mostly done with everything that I need to do on Destiny, both in game and on YouTube, and then that's when I tend to kind of slow things down. And I mean, like my play sessions will slow down to at least on stream once, maybe twice a week, and one of those streams is going to be playing D1 anyway. It's not going to be playing Destiny 2, because
way to take a break from Destiny.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, this is a little different because it's
it is.
Incentive. But yeah, I'm not about the whole like I need 18,000 Vanguard tokens for November. Like, I'm not about that life anymore. I'm not about. If you are, great, grind away. Good for you. I'm not about that life anymore. I'm like, I'm good with what I got. So
you gave me the perfect segue to a question I've been dying to ask all of you: bounty hoarding. How do you guys feel about the continuation of going into, especially a new expansion release, and a bunch of people, especially content creators, feeling the pressure of gotta save your bounties so you get as much XP as possible? Like, I personally would love for them to just expire all when you go into a new expansion. What do you guys think?
Same. Delete them all.
yes.
Have you log in, they're all expired. You can't do anything with them. I would love for them
to expire. I don't want to have to worry about pre-grinding the next season before it's even here yet. I understand the desire to do it, you know, or potentially the need, depending on what you're doing with the, you know, like the world first raid or something like that. But man, I am so over it. I'm so tired of looking at like which bounties give the most XP on which day and which combination you should turn them in, and then just that's the kind of nuance where I'm just like I don't want this. This is not the kind of nuance I want in the game.
It's the most boring kind of grinding because you're playing old content to get, you know, new power ups, right?
Yeah. That's what I don't like. There's a bunch of things I don't like about it. Certainly, number one, the unevenness of the, you know, power per hour as you go in to the first new expansion, and there's a bunch of people who've played for months saving stuff up, and you're like, everyone's like, why didn't you do it? But putting aside just feeling left behind, to your point, Brian, I think that's the one that nails it. I don't think it's fun. I fully understand there's this, you know, amount of people they like doing it. So you're going to take away something. It gives them something to do. But I think at a core, grinding weekly bounties is not a fun thing for Destiny. And actually, it risks burning you out in the same way as if we get into Solstice. Well, when I feel like you're at risk of burning yourself out when they allow you to do stuff like that. And then it sours you. And then we just complain about that we're getting burnout on this, you know, simpler type of stuff. So
I don't blame anybody for doing it, though. Like, especially content creators. Like, if they feel like they can get like to a higher power before everybody else, then there's gonna be like a viewer boost because of that, right? Like, oh, this guy is 10 points light higher than everybody else. What's he doing to get there? When, in all honesty, he doesn't have any advice he can give you because he did all that work a month ago. Yep. You know, but I don't blame anybody for doing it because it's like exercising before you go on a race. It's like, if you run a marathon, you exercise first. If you didn't, you can't be mad at somebody who did, you know?
Yeah. Or it's like taking every advantage, you know? It's like saving your vanity items that might turn into better shards or whatever. It's all that stuff. I especially just the beginning of expansions. That's for me where I feel like it hurt. I feel like it hurts the community most. Maybe hurt is a strong word, but it just feels like I'm over it. To put it in Datto's words.
Don't you think there's always going to be something, though? Like, if they get rid of the bounty thing, there'll always be something.
I'm sure there would be something, whether it's like grinding tokens to make sure you can fully optimize your leveling experience and all that kind of stuff. But like I'm with you. Like, I'm not going to blame anyone for doing it. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, don't do that. Like you can do it if you want. I don't care. I'm sure I will as well. But I'm just saying, if they happened to get rid of that experience, I would not be sad.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the things we don't know. They've talked about now for, I believe, a year that, they understand that bounty XP stuff is kind of like not the best way to get XP. We're out here doing a raid or something. You're like, I guess I should have done 2 weekly bounties instead. So I'm excited to like play the game and be like, whoa, am I leveling up? You know? So we'll see. I don't know if that's coming to be online.
I've definitely had my gripes with like seasonal based currencies. Like this with Solstice. I don't know if this part of the bounty is bugged. I know that the bright dust section, that is bugged. I understand that. I don't know if the rest of the currency is, because they give you like 5 key fragments. So half of a box for doing a weekly Solstice bounty. 5. How many do you get for a heroic public event?
A lot more than 5.
Because guess what? It's way more than 5. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Anyone want to explain that one? What's going on? I feel like it's always been like that too. Like raids will give you like 2, and a strike will give you like 47. Like, oh, thank you.
Lost Sector will give you 292.
Right. It's like the easier it gets, the more you get. It's just so backwards. I understand, you don't want people checkpoint farming. I would rather give more seasonal materials to people checkpoint farming in the raids than people just looping lost sectors.
Yeah.
If there was never a reason to loop a lost sector again for the rest of Destiny 2, I would be very happy, because it feels like that's been the best way to do a bunch of different things. And man, it got old the first time I did it.
And the Whisper mission, which I actually like going into, but
I forget if a box is 10 or 15. I think someone in chat just said it's a third of a box. It might be 15. I forget how much it is. That's how little I care about my key fragments.
The
But
point
yeah,
stands,
it's just
though. You get
right.
more, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I am really curious to see where Beyond Light goes with that. I think that's the type of stuff. Well, it is the type of stuff we don't know yet. There's a lot of stuff they've talked about wanting to change. They've alluded to stuff like, which is not coming this year, but when will we get crossplay? And there's a lot they've had on the docket, but all we know right now is a new subclass. Okay, roughly speaking, there's obviously some cool stuff, but I want it. What's most important to me is when I step into Beyond Light, it starts to become a little bit of a different grind. Yeah, maybe that's the word for it. Yeah, I don't want to like go right back to like what Briar said is like, well, I'm gonna go do this in a lost sector. Is there a new best one? I'm actually like somewhat okay with that, especially if it points me towards new activities that are in there. But I hope there's just this new thing, like what I was saying. I don't know if it will exist, but like, oh, dude, you should run Nightfalls if you want to level up your XP and whatever. They give you XP based on points that you earned, and awesome, stuff like that. That suddenly we're thinking differently than just like, I guess I'm going to do these bounties. Which bounty is weekly, and can I do as fast as possible?
Yeah. And why do sometimes I have to click and hold to get a bounty, and then sometimes for a repeatable one, and then sometimes I don't have to click and hold for the repeatable? Just make them all just click.
Yeah,
Sorry.
totally.
Well, hey, if anything's gonna change, Beyond Light will be where it changes. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I know they've heard a lot of this feedback about bounties and all of that. So I'm sure if it's not going to change in Beyond Light, maybe the season after that they'd prepare something.
Yeah. Well,
They've
that's it.
talked about changing it publicly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've talked about the whole bounty, like trying to make it across your account as opposed to across all of your characters. Which I think that'd be fine. I mean, we're obviously still waiting for information on how it's going to work, but
Yep.
I'm intrigued at the very least.
Yeah, like I don't think it's fallen on deaf ears or anything. I wasn't getting that they're like, Bungie knows. Like the truth is, right, and Datto, you've talked to them on and off the record. Like 9 times out of 10, they're like 90% like on the same page. Like, we don't like it either, but I'm trying to figure out how to fix all this stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, trying to change those things overnight is much more difficult than I think the community probably gives them credit for.
Yeah.
It's easy to see a problem. It's harder to think of a solution for it.
Not only that, but coming up with a solution and then implementing it into the game. It's all something that takes a while. So yeah, a lot of the time they do know the main gripes that the community has. It's just they can't turn it around that quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah, Datto hit on a point that I will probably get into Solstice as well, but like the multi-character grind, totally respect, some of the biggest fans love to go through 3 characters, and they love that grind, and it gives them something to sink their teeth into. I've always been on the one side where I'm like, if I've already done this, please, for the love of God, like, I don't even want to do it again, depending, this is a very general statement, but seeing them really start to address that with Solstice, like, look, you already did this. It's already a grind. We're not going to make you do 5, well, you probably still got to do 5 adventures, but we're not going to make you grind out these orbs, for as long a time as you just did. Like, you can do it twice as fast and then 3 times as fast. And, I'm sure we'll get into that. But that's what they said about XP that I forgot was one of the main goals, is that people felt like they also had to, compile across characters, XP bounties and all this stuff. And I really hope we move away from that in Beyond Light.
Yeah, it seems like they don't want, like, it seems like almost they don't want all 3 characters to almost be like a requirement in order to fully maximize your experience. Like they want people who only have 1 character or maybe only 2 characters to have, a similar chance at getting all those high XP values, across these bounties and whatever, which I think that's totally fine. If you have multiples and you want to keep going and get more XP, I think that should be an option to you, but you definitely should not feel hindered because you only have 1 or 2 characters.
Yeah, I want that feeling, is that if I'm playing just a hunter or whatever, that I don't have to go across multiple characters, but hey, you can do the same thing on this character and keep grinding out the same amount of XP, whatever that may be. Instead of in a way, it's an exploit, right? It's like, well, you can get more XP if you play more characters. Understand there's some built in of like, it's just how it works, but
right, yeah.
So, have you guys been grinding the Solstice of Heroes, and how do you guys feel about the kind of the Eververse controversy involved with it?
Oh, Bri, you're bringing up Eververse. Jeez.
Why don't you why don't you refresh the viewers' memories?
So-
What's so
Oh,
controversial,
What's going on with
Mr.
that?
Mr. Eververse Rabbit?
With Solstice of Heroes, you can earn the armor and you can earn a white glow, but to get the glow that kind of reflects your subclass, the only way to get it is to buy it through the Eververse store.
Shock.
Right, and you know, like the new armor is cool. I think it's really cool, but a lot of people feel that Eververse glow is kind of the best thing available during the Solstice of Heroes, and you don't have to play the game at all. You can just buy it and apply it to any armor. It's not specific for this armor, right? The Solstice of Heroes armor. You can apply it to your favorite armor. Like, there's a little bit of people saying, like, hey, you know, I watched Mesa Sean's video the other day, and he's like, you know, why would I do all this work when I just bought the best thing in the game?
Well, I mean, obviously, the best thing in the game. I mean, I think it's subjective, right? We can't
Sure.
definitively say, oh, because you get the glows that change with your subclass, that's better. That like, because if you like the white one, then you gotta go get the white one, right?
Yeah.
But to say that something like this was going to be unexpected, I think would have been ridiculous based off the past 2 years that Solstice has
Armor
been a
glows
thing.
are the first thing that we've ever bought from like a microtransaction.
Yeah. So to be perhaps blindsided by that, I would have to be like, did you just start playing? And if so, I'm sorry. But if you haven't, this should have been an expectation that they were going to do something like this where there was an Eververse-based offering. It's happened with more or less every single season. I'm not saying it's the best thing for the player experience. I'm just saying you should have known this was probably going to happen. Should something be done about it? Sure, absolutely, but
So I don't
you go.
really mind it because you have to it's good and also a little weird at the same time that you have to go through the blue armor to get to Majestic before you can purchase the glows and the which then turn into universal ornaments. I like it in that you still have to play the game and invest in the game before you can purchase it with Bright Dust or with Silver, and we'll head over to Fran for Bright Dust per hour spreadsheet information. That's the information people need, Mr. Fran. But you know, I would like it better actually if they made the white glow when you earn it also become an ornament. If they did that, I'd be really happy about that, because then it's like, okay, so now I have this ornament that's white that shows that I did this big grind and it looks really cool and I can use it on all of my armor. So that's the only thing that I'd really want to change. I don't mind them having a glow for Bright Dust or Silver, but I would like to see the white go to an ornament as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is a good point to remind. You can get it with Bright Dust, a lot of Bright Dust, 6,000. So I don't know. Yeah, I'd never get into Bright Dust grinding.
You
if somebody
should.
out there knows how long does it
Fran,
take
you
you to
should.
get 1,000 Bright Dust on the average? That's the important number. I would love to know, because that's the difference. Is because what I do know, it takes about 3 to 5 hours depending on how you play to get to the legendary magnificent set. So I think that's what you get. You get a purple armor, right? And then it's like, oh, cool. Now you can go and spend $15, I think, or 6,000 Bright Dust, and you can go get your whatever glow you want. And to Briar's point, that's kind of where it gets weird. You're like, well, go get one of these sweet glows, like 3 to 5 hours, you're done, if you have the currency. Or you can do 7 trials matches. You can do the master, or deal nightfall. You can do blah, blah, blah. And they put you through the grind just to get to the white glow on the other side. So you actually have to invest more time to get a glow versus just buying it. I think that at the base of it for me is the one that kind of, not surprising, but it's like, it's a bummer. And then the only other thing I wanted to point out was that for me, what's important with these events is, you feel like the grind and the time you spent, you get something for the time you put in. And I think that maybe that's what I'm hearing from Briar. It's like, clearly for him, it's colored glows. And maybe if he could just pick one of them, he'd feel better about it versus I don't know how many people like the white glow versus those, but right? Like, what if? Let me just ask you that, Brian. What if you could earn and choose one of those glows right after you're done with that first, 3 to 5
I
hours?
honestly don't have an opinion on this. I'm so checked out on the Eververse store. Like,
Where was the heat, dude?
I don't even look at it
ready
anymore.
for a
It's
fastball.
I've said this before, but I feel like it's a battle that I
been.
lost 2 years ago. Like, there's no point in talking about it because it's just gonna keep happening. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
100% there. I'm 100% with you. It's just like this is a
Check it
thing.
out.
It's probably never going away, and I've stopped talking about it almost entirely on my channel for the past year because I've just said, look, until significant changes come to the Eververse in some way, I've made every single argument that I could possibly make about the Eververse, merits, non-merits, anything in between. Until something changes, I'm done because it's obvious something's probably not going to change. And if it is going to change, it'll happen Beyond Light, and we'll talk about it in Beyond Light. But until it happens, I'm checked out. I'm the same thing. I've yet to buy any silver in Destiny 2 to purchase anything from the Eververse store. But
I'm always gonna feel that microtransactions are a hard sell in a looter shooter. Like, it's always gonna be that way. And that's it's a problem because you want the whole point of playing a looter shooter is to collect all the cool stuff and to have it segmented the way it is, where some of the stuff is in the game, but some of the stuff you just buy, and sometimes the stuff you just buy is cooler than the stuff you can earn in game. It's a downer to me.
I feel like that's been getting better though, especially since putting that armor into the dungeon, and they've said that they're going to be doing more stuff like that. And now it's like, yeah, you can get the Dragon Ball Z emote, which it's like what Tefty has said on the show before, where if it's something that doesn't look like it comes from an activity and it's a little out there and weird, and I want it, I'm totally gonna buy it. Gonna throw some money at it, buy it. That's what I want. But if it's something that you could put in a dungeon, or you could put in Iron Banner, or you could put in a raid, then I want it in those locations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To loop to Solstice back real quick, have they said that you get anything like super significant in terms of cosmetics for masterworking, or I guess completing all the last objectives on every armor set across all characters? Because I think getting
I think
some
they
sort
talked
of like
about it in the TWAB actually.
Okay.
They just
Oh yeah, today's Thursday. I haven't read the TWAB today.
It was actually simple. They just compared. They literally are addressing this conversation, and they compared what would you get in 2019, and then what would you get in 2020. So I don't want to spoil the TWAB read if you're getting into it at all, Brian.
Oh no.
Otherwise, I can sum it up for you real
Please
fast.
do.
Okay. The short of it was, they're
Brian.
like, guys, hey, we hear you on the Solstice and getting your stuff. Like, what's the grind? We also just want to clear up, like, what this year was like versus last year. Last year, you got a legendary Sparrow if you masterworked your set to completion, which you could also do, right? If you finished all the stuff, right, you got a fully masterworked set out of it. Granted, you were locked with those stats. And this year, they said, look, no, we want to give you a free glow on the armor. You're not going to be able to earn the masterwork, but that's because you're going to be able to earn new stat rolls. And we wanted to give you a new path to earn high stat rolls on these armor pieces. And that was the thing that they're kind of adding in here, because it's capped actually at 1360. So it is till I believe next year, right? And then they added in as well, second character's 2x the progress, 3x the progress for the third character. Datto, you put your hand up. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I distinctly remember the legendary Sparrow from last year maybe not being the most exciting, unless I'm thinking of the wrong Sparrow. I need to go back and double check.
It
I
wasn't
remember
very
feeling
exciting.
the same way too. I was like, I don't know that I got it.
I feel like it was just like a Sparrow model that we've seen before with just the Solstice stamp on it, and that was the whole thing. Again, I could be wrong. I need to go back. I would need to go back and double check, but that is just in my brain of being like that's the Sparrow. Okay.
I do. I think I prefer them giving us like a cool, different glow on the armor rather than a Sparrow. I get maybe getting something for all three characters, like an emblem would be cool. But I don't dislike the way that they're doing it this year, where it's like, yeah, you get this glow that's obviously different from the other glows that you can purchase, and we make it easier for you to get glows on the other classes if you complete them. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it feels a little bit better than last year, and we all know what cacophony
Yeah.
last year was, with the glows and everything.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't mind seeing like a super final thing where if you masterwork. Sorry, I keep saying masterwork. If you complete all the objectives on the final sets of armor on across all of the characters, there's something at that Omega top level, if there's not already. Other than just, I think there's a triumph that's worth 0 points for that, which is like, yay. But also why? I
Yeah,
forgot what I was gonna say.
that's what I was gonna say about the whole event. And I didn't want to derail us too much earlier, but it's like, what, with open mind and try to erase what you know about. Oh God, did we just lose Datto?
It's not my internet.
Not my internet, man. Not mine. All right, we need to drag Datto back in.
Okay.
I think he clicked out because he wanted to go check that sparrow out. Wait, is it gonna screw up the order of stuff, Brian?
No, it's fine.
Okay. And stand
I
by.
literally
Datto's
just-
back. Dude, I'm sorry if that question offended you.
I accidentally clicked, and it was of course on a different voice channel. So I was like, great. I can't see the channel. That's my bad. Sorry to derail.
That's funny. No, it's actually exactly what the show is all about. It's perfect.
True.
I was asking with an open mind, look at Solstice, try to forget a little bit about how it's been and what they tend to give you. Like, just what would you want for an event like this in the summer? You know, because the season releases around June now, late May, whatever it's going to be. We do that content. We got lucky last year. We got a raid. You get the idea. Then we come to kind of this like next event that's either like the Dawning or there's something. And it seems like Solstice, all we get is a good looking set of armor, and that's it. And it feels like to me that's the issue is I never really like doing the grind. They now have EAZ, which before was a new activity, but now it's an old activity. But anyway, what would you like either want for your reward or what would make it valuable to you guys?
New content.
That's a good question. Yeah.
New content. Like, what's that mean, Brian?
I mean, last year we got the EAZ, and that was really exciting to me. I really actually didn't care about the Solstice armor. I rarely care about the rewards at the end of things much anymore, unless it's like a new like really powerful weapon, or if it's something special, I'll go after it. But if it's just something that looks a little different but performs the same, I don't care that much. But I was really interested in the EAZ because it was a brand new experience. I wanted to check it out. It was pretty fun. It's the EAZ again. We haven't had the EAZ in a year, so I still want to play with it because I did enjoy it so much last year, but it definitely doesn't have the sheen it had last year, right?
Yep.
I've really been having a good time with Solstice, and I wonder if a large part of that is because I do not do everything every week. I don't raid every week. I don't do Gambit every week. I do Gambit like once every 6 months.
When I have to,
maybe. And
During Solstice when you have to. Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? Like when you're not playing stuff constantly, and then the game is like, go do all these things. It's kind of like a hoorah around the activities of Destiny. It's not that bad because it's like, oh, I haven't played this in a long time. I'm actually enjoying it because I haven't been here in forever. So I've been, especially with, I think being a streamer does make it more fun because Destiny is a really good game to just play and hang out with chat. Especially when they're telling you to do like, go do Gambit and go do public events and go do this thing. It's really easy to just like hang out and have a good time and do a bunch of different things. So I've been having a good time. I think the armor this year looks really cool. It's the type of thing that I would like. So I don't know, like getting new stuff would be great. Like you said, Brian, getting the EAZ last year was really cool because it is a really awesome space. It's fun, but because we've had it already, getting it to come back is like, oh, okay, well, it's cool, I guess. But yeah, I haven't felt like the last year with Solstice, I was tired. I didn't want to keep going, but this year I'm like, I'm actually having an okay time.
Well, the accelerated
Mhm.
progress definitely helps, and I know they've changed a couple of the objectives on the armor. Like one of them last year was like 100 mini boss kills in the EAZ, and
One
everyone
of them was
Bro,
opening chests, and you had to be the person who opened the chest.
Yeah,
That was
such a pain. In the
That's
ass.
was a
just
pain in the
mean,
ass.
man.
That is me.
Yeah.
You were racing your teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely play the game a bit more frequently. So for me, I'm a little more jaded in that department. Had probably one of the worst times I've had playing Gambit in quite a long time. Just trying to get those 10 games and like literally.
If you're listening, Datto's still here.
I was gonna go on like a crazy Gambit
Do
rant
it.
for a
Oh,
second.
please do.
Okay, you know there's a problem with a game mode when it's not even fun to win.
That's a good point.
Like when I'm winning and I'm still sad, that's a problem. Anyway,
There's
anyway,
nothing wrong with being burnout on Gambit. I don't think that's it's objective, I think.
I think for me, it's personally just fatigue that I've already been doing so many of these things already throughout the year so often, and now it's just like keep doing it, keep doing those things. And I get that Bungie wants everyone to be interacting with all parts of the game in order to get these things done. You know, I imagine they want people to interact with many facets of the game as opposed to just one hyper specific thing. But for me personally, it's just kind of like I want to get this done immediately, so that way I can move on to doing something else. Because I as a content creator feel a somewhat semi obligation to have most, if not everything, in the game, just to exercise some level of prowess over the game, whether it's being a collector, or having all the titles, or having all the gear, or having all the weapons. And it's just something that I enjoy as an investment gamer. Is I like having all the things. But if I didn't feel that way, I could absolutely see myself completely checking out of Solstice probably after just one set. And if I was a bit more casual, I would have just gotten my purple set, yoinked one of the shader or the ornament sets for my Titan from the Eververse with some bright dust, and then moved on. And I just don't really know what else they could do with Solstice other than make new stuff, partly because it's already ingrained in my brain that this is what Solstice is.
True. Yeah.
I was gonna say, for what it's worth, I think the fact that they're offering you can get higher stat rolls once you move through this is nice, because there's not many sources of that. It's the main reason I played, not the main, but one of the main reasons I played this season of Arrivals has been because like the recaster's kind of neat, being able to target in and potentially get a high roll has been the biggest thing, where I'm just like, I don't even bother. Like, it's just not going to happen for me. And I'd never, part of it was a laziness, I guess, but I wouldn't even look at some of my stats. But I already knew, there's no way I had a complete set that had what I needed on it. So the fact I have that in there, I give him props to that one. Meaning it's gameplay content that is important. It's a set that will last you for a year. And where else can you really get high stat armor from? What, Iron Banner maybe?
The season pass.
Recaster. The pass is dropping high armor.
The pass is like the highest
really
roll armor
high.
that I've seen in the game.
God.
But it has pretty
like,
balanced stats, which I hate, so I don't use it.
Yeah, like if you're like, for example, if you're on a Titan and you're pulling armor from the season pass, it's going to give you more resilience focused pieces, because that's the stat for your class ability. For Hunter, is probably going to give you more mobility.
Yeah.
Warlock is going to give you more recovery. So I mean, okay, so let me clarify. If you're on a Warlock, then you can get some baller armor pieces from the season pass. I think it's after level 5. It's in the second half of the
stuff you
pass.
actually click out of it, right? You're like, oh, that's the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, because first they give you like a pretty garbage set of armor, and then the second half it's just like 67 stats, and you're just like, whoa.
I'm such a hoarder. I haven't clicked on that stuff. Can you see the stats before you click? I'll have to look. But
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I better double check that. But my general point was that I do think it's good. Because if you narrow it down, even like the raid, like I'm not gonna run raids for high stat armor. Like, it's not gonna happen. So I do give him credit for that. It gives me something gameplay wise that I think is pretty exciting, and that maybe I'm alone there, but like I finally have gotten into the idea of thinking about actually, yeah, having a tier 10 mobility and making sure I have it. And frankly, up until this point through all Destiny 2, well, not only that, but I want my recovery too as a hunter. But I pretty much previously, I'm like, I can't do this with the way there's so much different armor and the looks are important to me and all the above, right? And I feel like they have done a pretty good job with that. So I give them credit for this event with that. But I know I'm going off here, but I was going to ask what events you think they've nailed that are like this or have done well. I kind of look back and I liked getting the what is that werewolf
Cookies?
gun from
Oh.
no, cookies.
Festival of Fall.
But you got the gun from Festival
Yeah.
of the
It's the
yeah, Lost.
the Braytech werewolf. Yeah.
That's
Which
it.
is,
Which was fun to chase and it didn't take too much time. But getting a weapon, I feel like, is pretty darn nice. I feel like the event needs something like that. Maybe that's it for me. If it had all these things plus just like one weapon or one, maybe it's a mod that's interesting or something. That'd be in the sweet spot. Then I can put aside the glows and be like, it's not about the glows, but it feels like the event is about the glows overall.
Or getting that high stat roll armor, friend. You got to keep going, keep pushing the button, press the button.
Yeah, or that. So I've been.
If you do want to farm for some of those chests to get some of the armor, Fallout recently just put out a video talking about optimal routes that you can run in the EAZ to get the chests to get as many as possible. So he did a bunch of work into it. So I highly recommend checking it out because it is a good video. It's not just like, here's the chest locations. It's actually giving each of your team members a route to run to make sure you get all the chests no matter what. So
I haven't seen a video about running routes for chests since like year one of Destiny 1.
Since the gold chests of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Spin metal days. It's
funny.
I think, Fran, to what you were saying, a lot of hardcore players are stepping into the fashion world when it comes to endgame stuff. Like once they have all their, high stat roll armor or, their fully masterwork sets or whatever. I think for a lot of those players, it comes down to, I want fashion stuff that not many other people can get. And I think that's part of the appeal with Solstice is like getting that white glow, especially on all your characters, is stepping up that fashion game as much as you can to really stick out in some way. At least that's what it is for me. Because for me, is another legendary auto rifle going to do a whole lot for me? No, unless you got some crazy perk rolls. But until Gnawing Hunger gets the nerf bat, it's going to be tough to dethrone that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. By the way, it was Horror Story. That was my bad. I led us to the werewolf idea.
Okay.
My bad. But they had similarities, I think. But yeah, I mean, it could even be like how we got Dire Promise starting to roll from these engrams, right? And stuff like that, I think is whatever it is. I'm not trying to redesign it right here, but could use a little bit more. But you make a good point. Like, it is a grind, and it should be to get that stuff. But it brings us back to the point of like, but that's why it kind of sucks that if you spend those 3 to 5 hours, you can just buy a glow or use your Bright Dust. But then if you spend all this time on a lot of higher level stuff, they give you the same type of thing. So to solve that, I'd be like, just leave the glows there. I should have just done the 3 colors. Forget the white glow. Give me something unique, like you're saying, that's a vanity thing that says, I went a step beyond. I went to the next tier of this armor, and you can't buy that. You can only grind it. Then that would solve it for me.
Yeah,
that's the white glow, Fran.
It's confusing.
That's it right there.
As long as they split it somewhat evenly, where it's like, if you just want to go buy something, go buy it. But if you want to grind the super cool stuff out for a cosmetic or whatever, then we're going to give you the option. I think that's all people really want, is just make sure it's balanced in some way where the grinders can go grind and the non-grinders can just buy something and then peace out,
Yep. Yeah.
Is there anything else in the TWAB that we wanted to talk about? I think it
just says here that Briar Rabbit really likes the cowboy ghost.
I do really like the cowboy ghost. To me, it looks more like Indiana Jones hat.
It does.
Speaking of fashion show, another one is
there is
coming up.
This one is for all about Solstice, right? So showing off your Solstice looks. So the fashion show, it's the emblem that everyone wants because it's the best emblem in the game. And the way that you can enter this one is you can send screenshots to @Bungie on Twitter with the hashtag Solstice Fashion Show, and they'll be retweeting winners through Thursday, August 20th, so a week. But it does have a theme, so you can't just be like, I have the best looking guardian, I'm just gonna upload whatever. You have to be wearing at least one Solstice of Heroes armor piece, renewed, majestic, or magnificent. So you can wear, even if it's just the cape or something, you just gotta have one. You don't have to have the glows, that's not important. And you must take a picture on any destination to qualify. So you don't want to just take a picture of you inspecting your guardian. You want to actually go to a location and do a photo shoot.
Can I give some recommendations?
Yes.
Speaking as one of 3 people in math class who has a fashion emblem, I don't know what Bungie looks for when it comes to the fashion stuff. Right?
What I've
really
seen
don't.
with retweets is like monochromatic stuff they tend to really like.
If I was the judge at Bungie, anyone wearing any sort of monochromatic shader, any sort of black white, if you're wearing Metro Shift, you're banned. If you're wearing Precursor Vex Chrome, you're banned. If you're wearing any sort of black and blank shader, you're banned.
You're also banned if you're wearing zombies.
Wear something, put on a shader that's not getting a ton of use.
Yeah.
That would be my.
I agree.
If you're gonna go down swinging. We've seen, like, don't get me wrong, Metro Shift looks great. Precursor Vex Chrome looks great. Monochromatic, it looks great. It's been done to death a billion times. So go down swinging. Use something that's a little more flashy.
Creative.
I wore Vanguard Flashfire or whatever it's called on my Solar Titan build. It's bright orange and blue lights.
Nice.
Right? It's very flashy. It's very not monochromatic. Metro Shift, Golden Trace. Like, get creative with the shader. Use something that isn't getting used a lot, or is at least new. If I see season 1 shaders, I'm gonna lose my. You're banned. You're banned from ever entering again.
But I saw that. I'm telling you, I've looked at them and I'm like, okay, it's like very black, very white, very chromey, pretty consistently. There's every now and then there's one that's like, okay, that actually looks unique. But out of all of them that are shown, there's definitely more that look unique in the threads that I've looked through than the ones that they've picked.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Again, I don't know what they look for. I don't know who picks the winners. I don't know who judges it.
Yeah,
but if I was a judge and I saw Metro Shift for the 1800th time, I'd be like, the first person with any sort of pop of color is the winner. Give me some color on these things.
Ask yourself,
creative.
Would Watts buy a keyboard this color?
You know what? Yeah, I mean, I think you bring up a really good point because we live in a world where we judge this stuff a lot on it's so clean, and that's what a lot of people are doing. It's so clean, but like I get it. It can be with a small accent.
No, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, but I'm with you.
Anytime I see one of those shaders, I'm like, yeah, it looks great and clean, like Fran would say, but it's boring. It's so boring.
Advocating this, even though I use the Honors of the 9 shader because it's so clean. It's all bright white everywhere, but you can accent it. But that'd be cool for them to advance this and say, yeah, maybe they even pick a couple colors. Say you need a red theme. We're accepting red and blue themes, or whatever.
Yeah. Fran, I dressed up as a fashionable acolyte for my emblem. So
green and brown,
red.
Yeah,
red acolyte.
So here's some shaders that I use. I use on my characters. I use Ancient Defender. I use Vanguard Flashfire. I use Sato Tribe from the Armories. I use it's like Royal something from season 9 on my Warlock.
I know the one you're talking about.
What is it? Regal Medallion.
Regal
Medallion on my Warlock. And I also use Pomegranate Gloss.
You know what's really
that sounds
good?
delicious.
And if you've never heard
Burnished Orchid, check it out. Burnished
really
Orchid is
and if you've
great.
Never heard of any of those shaders? then get off of Metro Shift and look through your collections tab.
I didn't know you were so passionate about the fashion stuff. This makes me so happy because it really does. I thought I was the only one.
Like, Angel was the first person in math class, I believe, to get an emblem, and he was the guy on the very first fashion show to have literally just the complete mismatch, like set that everyone was just like, this has to be an honorary something, and he ended up getting an emblem as an honorary mention, or just like a reverse fashion show sort of deal, and like it stood out. It stood out in some capacity, and I think standing out and, you know, maybe not making it all the way is better than just throwing on a Metro Shift and posting it on the Twitter feed.
Yeah, in the spirit of fashion tips, my favorite is Midnight Smith, also from the Forges. Midnight Smith is a red and black shader, and it is amazing. So
That's
hot
got
tip, trust me.
The weave that kind of moves too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it might have exactly that. Like, I know what you're talking about, the wavy lines, the aberration.
I like this brand. The reenactment is great. If we could have more of that, that'd be great.
It has the, but also, yes, as they were pointing out in there, it's something you don't think about, which you have to take this to a destination. And pro tip, as a videographer and all that, you are now going into somewhere with colored lighting that is completely different than what you see. So my advice to you is go into the spot that you want to do it and be there, because I went through this where I would deck myself out for the raids or even the tower, and it'd be like brown and red lighting in the raid. And I was like, this is not working at all. It looks like somebody barfed on my shader. And so
I have never thought of this in my entire life.
Dude, the lighting changes it completely. You could wear a white set armor and it changes it. So
did they fix it so that it used to be that the destination you were on, even when you were in your menu, it would still light up your character?
No,
is it not like that anymore?
I don't think it does that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always this bright, white, clean light.
I'm not making that up, right?
Tone.
That happened.
I don't remember that happening, because I've had these colors, shading struggles since Destiny 1. Like in Taken King, same thing. I'd be making it, and then I'd go into King's Fall, and I was like, ugh. King's Fall, by the way, one of the hardest raids to have a dope shader in. I would love to go back with the shaders we have now. I know, I really do love
the lighting.
Yeah, I should try to get the reason I don't have a fashion emblem, one, because there's a lot of talented people out there, but two, I will do this for like 5 hours and my brain will melt out of my ears. So I'm afraid to even go down that road.
I spend a lot of time, like whenever I do end up doing my fashion show videos, I'd probably do them like once every 2-3 seasons now, just because doing it every season is just too much. But I do the same thing. I will like dig through every single shader, every single armor piece, every single ornament that I have, and try to make something somewhat unique. I have a rule where I can't use shaders that I've already used, so I have to keep getting creative. I don't want to use anything from earlier seasons. I want to try and use new stuff. Obviously, there's plenty of things that look really, really good. The new, Carminica shader, which is like deep red, deep black. Looks so good.
Yeah.
But I think that's a safe shader.
It's
safe.
Still safe.
It is.
Way
It's
too
very
safe.
Way too
right?
safe.
Looks good.
Love these.
And it's new.
It's too safe.
It's very safe. You gotta get more creative.
Yeah. Get some iridescent coral in your life. Make that look good.
I will say
That actually sounds like a color.
Yeah, right. I would say that with regards to shaders, I would like to see a bit more interchangeability potential between shaders, because there are a lot of shaders that have very, very specific hues and tints of certain colors, and trying to mix match some shaders here and there is rather difficult.
Hard.
It
is rather difficult. So I would not mind, being able to either like change the orientation of a shader, literally just like, here's the shader, and turn it 90 degrees and have things shift in a certain way.
Yeah, because the way it applies stuff absolutely is unpredictable.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't feel like there's any consistency at all.
Like you might want
with like where the color blocks are. Yeah, exactly.
You might want an orange cape as a hunter, and you're like, honestly, I could try Vanguard, but it's probably going to be like black or silver, because it depends. It's hard to find the colors sometimes.
So either being able to rotate the shader, or more shaders that can interact with other shaders, in some way a little bit better, because like if you don't have like that perfect like purple tint to match all the other pieces, it just like it doesn't look good. Completely messes up.
And some armor just looks, they'll even take the purple, but it will be like a lighter purple than a different ornament you're using, which is a slightly darker purple. And I'm like, dear Lord, can't wait. That's actually why I ended up using Burnished Orchid, because it looked good with a few other things, because it would change the cape to that really nice green color, a greeny blue, and other armor would so
I would
use different things. People change your shades, get your fashion game on. Put together a fashion Discord.
I'm so excited we brought this up, because actually, like, it legitimately could improve the game in the sense that there's people who love to do this stuff. I'm now envisioning like a 3-tier. Like, imagine if you could layer shaders like
you got
Datto
Fran
saying,
going Datto
for custom stuff. But think of it just at a minimum. What if I told you that first of all you can buy a shader, but now there's a new type of shader that you can earn, and it's rare, and it's stuff like gloss and specularity and overlays on your shader. Dude, I would be like, great new item to add into it. You can get your Solstice shader overlay if you grind it. Anyway, want to know how beaten down we are, everybody?
Real interesting.
That we're talking about shaders for the past 15 minutes.
Well, hey,
didn't think this was going to be a fashion podcast, did you?
If you could get like something that would affect any shader, like
that's what I'm saying,
like a mask, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah. So I was gonna joke that, want to know how beaten down we are at a lot of this stuff? We just went like probably 20 minutes off on shaders. That's one thing.
Hey, it's the summer. Like, this is how it is every summer.
It's the summer.
Yeah.
Wait for my point to drop. Not once did we talk about the need to like fix the shader system. We've like so over having to talk about deleting shaders. We probably haven't even talked about it in like a year, because we're over like complaining.
Yeah. I mean, I know I mentioned in like a super petty rant video about stuff that was like, here's like tiny little insignificant things that drive me insane. The shader system was an honorable mention that someone, I think it was Toes that mentioned it to me. And I'm sorry if it wasn't, but it was just like revamping the shader inventory system in some way. So like, do we really need like charges of shaders anymore? Like, is that really important?
No.
Can we like, I would love to see a favorites system for the shader system if you want to do something like that and still have 50 slots.
I feel like the shader system is a holdover from when they were planning on charging money for shaders. Yeah. Right? Like, and now that they're not doing that, it just feels like it's just like, why is it this way? It's because it's a holdover from doing that.
Yeah, it's very, very dated. I would definitely like to see that switched up.
The other must, and I feel like, I know you're now, Datto, you're going to agree on this one. We have to be able to freaking apply a shader all at once. Just please, at the very top, wherever it is, just apply it to everywhere. It drives me nuts. It takes
or
so
have
much
the
time.
option, right? You can have like original and then all over. Right. So let me at least pick. If maybe you like the half and half.
Yes.
Right. Maybe you like the half and half. Supremacy is a sniper that I use. More than half of that gun cannot be shaded. Why? Why do you not want me to shade this thing?
Or a different way to think about it is like, pick a shader, then check which items you want it to go. Whatever. That, and also it kills me to I might just want I want to quickly load like shaders in. So I don't know, that gets into loadout stuff, but like legitimately, like I might even switch one piece right on my set, and then I have to change that. So it's maybe that's part of it, is a universal, like, doesn't matter what I put on, this is my shader, that's it, lock them in to all the pieces, whatever it is. We need something like that. Legitimately, I think there's a lot of people out there who probably like I can't keep doing this. I'm like, I'll just leave it. It looks ugly. I don't care.
I honestly think I would change shaders more if I could just apply to all. Because I have to go in for each piece, I'm just like, it's too much work.
Yeah, and you have so many armor pieces, and then you're trying to memorize which pieces go to which set, and it could be a whole thing. Yeah, I would love some sort of a loadout system, and I just don't think it's the highest priority for Bungie right now. Like, I don't know if they're in the phase of Destiny where they can afford to be like, let's spend like a couple of months revamping the shader system. And then meanwhile, you're going to have Reddit being like, 3 months for the shader system? Where's the new content? Like, I don't think they're there just yet to be able to to revamp such a non-essential system.
Yeah, but maybe if that is, again, Eververse controversial, but maybe that vanity system is what makes it worth it, right? Like, I might be okay buying an exclusive shader as long as there's tons of them in the game. Like, that's pretty minor. Like, dude, where'd you get that, like, orange? It's a different orange than I have, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's important, it's subjective, right? It truly is one of my end games. Like, no joke, I do like to have a dope set. I think we all do at the heart of it. That's why we do Solstice. When you brought it up, I think that's what spiked it. Was like,
It's
yeah,
why
it's part of the
people
end
play
game.
like looters.
Yeah, like part of the end game's
dope
walking around.
stuff.
People are like, dang, you're looking pretty
Yeah,
good.
you want to look like a badass. Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
get that attention in the tower. You have a cool armor set, cool shader set. Like that's part of it. I mean, at least for me, I love like the times where I just kind of get to go into a zen and just like I'm filtering all my armor sets and I'm organizing everything, and then it's just super super nice and clean and organized. It's actually somewhat relaxing, even though it can be a little bit tedious, like just digging through armor pieces on dim and whatever. But
Yeah. We play some of these other games that let you build whatever your own, or you upgrade your town, and you customize it, Animal Crossing, whatever. Those, it's amazing how much enjoyment you get out of that as gameplay. And like on a surface level, you're like, why do I care what, whatever. Maybe why do I care what my tower looks like? It doesn't make sense in this world, but you get the point.
I
imagine you could see the inside of your ship. That's a better example.
Right.
That's what they bring to Beyond Light. Let's say you get to see the inside of your ship, and you get to have a little charm on the dashboard with a bobblehead Zavala, and you're like, I'm set. Stuff like that, man, is so it is so important to players. So I do genuinely. It is an important topic. I'm glad we talked about it. I'd love them to go down that rabbit hole sooner than later. Obviously, I want dope raids and dungeons every 3 months and all the above, but
yeah, no, it's just something that I don't think gets that much attention, and maybe it should. I think people should be more stoked to create those armor sets and have a sense of I guess pride in your character and having it look good and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
Which would potentially bring us to how Transmog will potentially work in year 4.
Have you done a video on that yet?
I haven't,
because I don't know how to speculate on that one yet.
There's 2 ways to speculate about it. IMO, 2 ways. Either Bungie is going to make it so you need to have the armor piece in your vault or on your character in order for it to become a universal ornament, which I think would suck, or they just take your entire collections of all your armor pieces, every single one of them, and they make those into universal ornaments, which I think would be better. Would it be a chaotic nightmare UI problem? Probably. How many helms are there in the game for Titans? Count them. A lot. There's a lot of them.
How many shoulder pads are there?
Trying to make that,
Miles.
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, they do it pretty okay with shaders, right? You have 50 shaders that you click through with
debatable.
an arrow. Right?
Not alphabetized. Doesn't bother me at all.
I really
categorized.
I really would like to see them do a system where they just take anything that you have in your collection, you can just immediately pull it out, turn it into an ornament, or it's already an ornament. And then you can just go to your helm, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to just tab through all of my armor from every single season. I want that one from season 4.
This sounds too good to be true. Like,
which is why I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. It sounds too good.
I assume they're probably going to do something where you need to have the armor piece, and then you can turn it into an ornament or something like that. But it's really tough to speculate when they give us nothing to work on. Like,
it seems like with the
zero information,
with the delay of the content, there's like definitely a delay of talking about it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's funny that this also provides a perfect segue. I don't want to retread this ground too much, but going back to the glow stuff, I did forget to mention, and you guys may know if it's different. I don't know this for sure, but chat's telling me the white glow, right? You earn. That's the biggest grind, which you can apply to your Solstice armor. But as I was reading through, reminding yourself, that's right. The ornaments they're ornaments, so you can apply that to any armor 2.0.
Yeah.
pieces, right?
Correct.
Now she says that, but I can't do that with the white glow, can I? That's what
No.
Chad is saying.
That is
What?
correct.
That's
What?
why, Fran, when we talked about it, and I said I'd really like if that was a
I
thing.
missed it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I
they
missed that.
When you get all those objectives done, it should become an ornament set.
It
Absolutely.
100% should be. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on point.
Now
I just
Fran's
didn't realize
devastated.
it. I am devastated because you're working hard for
Delayed
something that's not as good as
devastation.
spending money on.
Yeah.
the other stuff.
Delayed.
Because
That was it. You
because
got to
now
see
you
his
only have-
heartbreak live.
You
Now
can't.
you only have a month. Now you
Yep.
only have a month to grind those armor pieces to try to
Yeah.
find the set, because as soon as it's over, you can't get
Oh.
that set. Maybe that's part of the appeal, is like you grinded so much that you got the perfect armor set that has the glow on it, that you can show off for the rest of the however long. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's
That seems like
Yeah.
a lot of work when I have one that changes with my subclass. For
yep,
spy.
yeah.
All right, I need to know this bright dust per hour. We're gonna have
Guys
to
want
look
to do
at
That's
some
what I'm saying.
Twitter questions?
I do want to do Twitter questions.
Hit
and
me.
I also want Fran's bright dust per hour. BPH.
Don't make me figure this out. Oh.
I
This
feel
is
like
what we
get a
Paul
spreadsheet.
Tassi wrote an article about it, but it was a few seasons ago, I think. So
Okay.
it probably isn't correct
Probably a
anymore,
little
right?
off.
I only do weeklies for bright dust, and that's only when I'm even grinding the game. Like I don't. As soon as I'm max level, I don't touch bounties, especially once you hit 200 for the triumph points in the season pass. I'm done.
It's over.
I'm pretty done.
Fallout Chad Juju plays says, honest question for
Fallout.
Datto. Does he have any favorite memes of himself that have popped up in the community? Like him holding up the paper or something else?
I mean, the paper one is iconic. Like
That
that's
one's good.
the one. that has to be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's great.
Breezes Christ says, does Fran think he's too good for the podcast? Yes, he does.
No,
Yes,
that
he
is not
does.
true.
Yes, he
Not
does.
Just
Absolutely.
mixing up 2020.
You don't think you're too good for the podcast? What shirt are you wearing
No.
right now? What shirt are you wearing right
Whoa,
now?
Brian, I told you this with confidence, man.
Show us the shirt, Fran.
Shout out to all my Fire Team Chat fans. No, you know what? I like this yellow shirt, and I totally didn't realize that I was going to be on the podcast, a competing podcast. I'm not on Fire Team Chat anymore, so I wear it in just general.
In solidarity.
I'm a fan. I'm a
You're-
fan, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm wearing DCP. Last time I've been on Fire Team Chat, I couldn't tell you, man.
We
Tweet
love
Destiny.
like half the people on that podcast.
half the
Only half.
Support
Wayne,
Destiny.
Wayne says, not a question, but have seriously missed Fran. Great to have you back, champ. I just like
Oh,
that he
thank
called
you.
you champ.
Champ, yeah, I never got like a champ nickname, so I'm down. I'm
Are
down.
people's parents allowed on the Twitter questions program? didn't
I
know
guess
that.
so. Jay Cooper says, question for Datto. What's your favorite guide you've ever made?
Ooh, favorite guide I've ever made. That is a good question. Why don't I take a look real quick if you want to hit the next question,
Sure.
and I will
Come back to it.
get back to you.
Scorpoid says, am I the only one who is ever super confused by the Solstice armor upgrade system? Not sarcasm. Upgrading from the majestic to magnificent does nothing cosmetically, right? Is it just to unlock the ability for it to glow?
Did you hear, Fran? He's very
We covered it.
confused. We
I'm
just
with
figured
you.
it out.
And Watson covered it an hour ago. So, but legit, I think you've probably heard it by now. So you can earn the white glow.
People are, it is confusing.
Ben Bergen says, Bungie plan to condense Gambit into just one mode. My question for the gang is, which mechanics would you like to keep moving forward? For example, would you like to see the armor sets still? Do you prefer 1 round or 3? Love the show. Thanks for making the drive to work
Oh,
fun.
man.
I
I
already have
feel
my
like
pitch.
Gambit could be really good, man. Gambit could be good. I think
The-
I would love to see them just try fixed loadouts, just as a thing, because anyone who's played fixed loadout Gambit tended to enjoy it.
I mean, if Gambit could
Yeah.
be a fun mode in a different game.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
What game are you envisioning? Like,
I don't know.
Fall Guys?
Anything with like less variety in weaponry. It just
I don't know how I feel about the armor sets, because I feel like 2 of them are really good and then 2 of them are really not that important at all. So if there was maybe a little bit more balance there, then okay. But I mean, if you're wearing an armor set compared to a team that's not wearing an armor set, it is insane the advantage that you get
Yeah.
compared to not wearing a set. So I think it was a cool concept, but if they did want to get rid of the armor sets, I would not be the most sad about that at all.
Yeah, for the longest time for me, with Gambit, I just always like envisioned this Overwatch style system because they introduced a set. So I thought, yeah, why not just like instead of having to earn all this confusing crap, can I please just choose like what am I going to be on defense or, on Guardian defense or whatever? I feel like there's something there. Of course, they still need to change the core, but that would like to your point, it would solve it for me because there's no way I'm going to grind Reckoning to get a armor set.
God no.
Yeah, I don't recommend. It's on paper, it's not that bad, but in practice, it's I think the worst title to go get, especially if you're by yourself.
No, thanks.
I have an answer for my favorite guide, by the way. My favorite guide was when I did solo Axis back during Rise of Iron, and I literally went play by play, moment by moment, movement by movement, like what I did exactly on the controller and how I ended up doing the things that I was doing. I was not absolutely close to the first person to do it, but getting to explain that level of detail was something that I had never done before, and to this day have not done before, down to literal like stick movements on my controller and like how I did certain things and why I timed certain things certain ways, because timing on that fight is so strict and so precise, to a level that I don't really get to talk about in most other videos.
Awesome. Go check it out, guys. Especially if you've never done Axis. That would be a fun watch.
I look at that video now and I'm just like, man, I used to be like that on a controller. I went up now and I was like, ugh, how do I even use this?
I was shocked by how quickly I lost stick skills. Like, it went fast.
Yeah,
you definitely you lose stick skill way faster than you lose like M and K. Like you can pick that back up and you're basically good to go again. But with controller, it's very different.
It feels
well, mouse and keyboard. It's like mouse and keyboard. You're on a computer every day, probably. So you still have the inherent like muscle memory of moving a mouse around a screen and typing on the keyboard to type things to people. Whereas a controller, you're only using that for gaming.
Yeah,
it's the opposite for me for whatever reason, but maybe it's because like I sort of question if you had gone a long time without gaming on a PC and you try to get back and press control to crouch and switch your guns with the numbers, like I think it's way harder. Like meaning if you stop, I mean I can attest to it. I used to be more of a PC gamer and I just was fine with consoles for the longest time, and then I was playing PC games with controller. But long story short, I feel like it's pretty hard to get into mouse and keyboard. It takes like weeks. Where I don't know, I feel like controller, it's weird, but
Yeah. No, I definitely get a lot of questions about like, hey, I just started mouse and keyboard. How do I get better? And for the most part, I just tell people you just have to keep practicing. Like you find a sensitivity that you like on your mouse, you find keybinds that you like on your keyboard, and you try to stick with them as much as you can. And you just practice.
And try and change every game to match what you've learned.
Yeah.
That's a real
I mean, that helped.
Yeah.
That helped. I kept a lot of my sensitivities across most games. So that way every kind of game would have a similar feel to how I use a mouse.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I changed the grenade button to be the same, the melee button to be the same. Obviously jump and like run.
No meme. I try to make my key bindings in all other games as close to Destiny key bindings as possible.
Yeah.
Not even a joke. Not even a joke.
It gets confusing fast, yeah. By the way, am I the only person who uses aim down sight sensitivity because it's capped at 5 and goes to 15? If you know what I'm talking about, right? You can change your mouse sensitivity. But then if you want your aim down sight sensitivity, the setting is from 5, I think, to 15, seemingly 50% to 150%. And it doesn't work for me. at all. And so I'm running at 2400 DPI at a sensitivity of 2 to get to where I'm trying.
2400 DPI.
Yeah.
How big is your mouse
2400?
pad? The size of like a drink? Like a
No, but it's because I've brought it down to like 1 or 2 sensitivity that anyway. 'Cause
Yeah,
I, like,
it's-
actual
super fast
picture of
flip
Fran's mouse pad.
Yeah.
Fran just puts it down and just spins it.
Exactly. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's really weird. I already told Bungie, I doubt it's a priority for them, but a game like Modern Warfare, you can go down just like whatever to 0.1 or go to 10, like that. It's so easy to set, and in this game, like I swear, that's my excuse I keep using of why. I
You
suck
know,
at
Fran,
PvP.
I never even bother with all those settings because I look at it and I'm like, this is too much work. I'm too lazy. I'll get used to it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Terry Bogart says, have we already seen Stasis in the game? I think when the sanctified mind gets defeated, he gets stasized. Sort of makes sense since
Stasis
Soul Inherent
mom.
Vex were dabbling in the darkness.
Sure.
I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's when you kill him, he solidifies. That's what happens.
okay.
To him. Yeah, I don't know. It could
Did
be
this
that. It
just
could just
start
be
happening, or?
no. It's been since
It's always been that way.
since launch. Yeah.
Did you
It
guys
just kind
see
of turns
Nem?
into a little
Nem
block.
found the stasis glow though.
Yes.
The what?
What about the stasis glow?
The stasis glow, like the color. So if you buy the ornament, that shows the different colors for the different.
Yeah.
There's one.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be one for stasis, and Nem
Yeah.
found it. I can't remember what combination of
like,
stuff. I'm sure he
actual
posted it
photo
on
of
his
it?
Twitter and his YouTube.
Let's see.
He was able to put some Titan helmet on. I can't remember, and then stand in
You
a
got
dark
the
area.
work?
Yeah,
Whoa. Rad.
yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
Nem plays. Did it.
200 IQ, that one.
Mm-hmm. And one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yes, Nem's awesome.
Random says, question for Datto. Rate DCP optimal levels. 10 is max optimal. 1 is not optimal. How optimal is DCP?
I mean, this week we got to be floating around a 9, right? I'm here.
Whoa.
That's a good point.
Perfect punchline. True. It's like he has to rate himself, so it's got to be at least.
I think we should just cut him off.
I feel
there.
like I have an inherent bonus. I give probably
Yeah.
the greatest bonus to
buff
optimal
the
levels.
podcast.
Right.
So
So
it's
it's got to be high, right?
It's
I think so.
concerning that we're not at 10, even with Datto here.
Yeah, that is
How
concerning.
low
I think it's just if we were like first week of Beyond Light, we'd be like way up there. But we're like chill mode right now. So
Yeah. Fair.
Adrian 2 says, have you considered making regular podcast clips and highlights for the YouTube channel? We used to do that, Adrian, and what we found was it takes a ton of work to do clips and highlights, and nobody was watching them. So it
Yeah.
just wasn't worth it. It would get, for
If
like a
you
podcast that
make
gets like 7,000.
100,000 accounts, and you watch on each of those accounts, or just keep playing it. Just play it constantly, always in the background. You have DCP clips. We'll do it. We'll do it again.
Yeah,
It is
just-
a ton of work, though. Yeah.
It is a ton of work.
Yeah.
Part of that work was just the fact that it took me so long to upload them. Now that I have
Ah.
faster internet, I may revisit it, but it still takes a long time to just edit it. But not that
Yeah.
long, because if I write it down, like something good happens on the show, and I write it down, it's pretty quick for me to just put out a highlight. But we'll see.
yeah, just write down the timestamp of the podcast.
Exactly.
I got an idea as a solution
Mhm.
because in this situation, you're like, that's a great idea, and you were in charge of it. What's their name?
Adrian too.
Adrian, too. That's a great idea. You're in charge of that.
That's
So-
management right there.
What you can do is
Pawn it off on somebody else.
He should
If
clip
you-
our streams.
I was
yeah,
gonna
if you-
say put it on chat. Make
Yeah.
chat do it.
Yeah.
If anything
Yeah.
funny happens, I do this in my stream. I say anything cool happens, you clip it.
Clip
You
it.
clip it immediately. You tell me the timestamp, and then I download it. So that's
Yeah,
what you
but I'm
gotta do.
going-
You get chat to do it.
Yeah, I'm going one further, which is Adrian, you, and other parts of the community you can reach. But I bet you if you reach out to Mr. Aries, I'm gonna put his name in here too, and just say, "Oh, I made this clip. Like, it's funny," and like if he agrees, like he could probably post it on Twitter. That'd be easy,
Yeah.
right?
Honestly,
So that
clips
might be-
are better on Twitter
That's what I was thinking.
because
Social.
they kind of they
The
bring in more
TikTok
people,
prior.
whereas people who watch the whole podcast don't really want to watch a clip of the podcast they just watched.
Exactly. So let's see if
I think
we get a clip.
We
out of
need
this.
the
Mystery Ace.
DCP TikTok account. We need Breyer to do all
I
of
think this
the
TikTok thing has a
famous
bright future.
dances. I want to see Breyer reenacting all the new TikTok dances.
Oh my
on
god.
DCP
I'm in.
TikTok.
Yeah,
I
actually
think
want
the
to see.
clips
Yeah.
are more for pulling in people from the outside as opposed to current
Yeah.
subscribers. Like
Yeah.
the clips are supposed to be for like spreading out, and hopefully one of them catches the algorithm and you bring people in with the clips. That's what I think they're for. But yeah.
Exactly. Fricado says, would you guys like to see cosmetics in the game that have drop chances comparable to other
Yeah.
MMOs like WWE?
WWE.
Yeah, I would.
You can say WOW.
Like WoW or Final
WoW.
Fantasy 14, example a sparrow or an ornament that has a 0.1 chance of dropping as a way to have more cosmetic items to chase that are not in
Like-
Eververse.
Yes.
Like Nano Phoenix. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I got that on my first raid.
I didn't. And the next one after that, and several more.
Yeah, I would
But-
love stuff like that though.
Yeah.
Like the Nightfall items were, not even that rare, but there's some pretty cool, like the ship. Everybody always asks me about Universal Wave Function. It's the ship that I use. It's a really dope ship. You can only get it from that Nightfall still, I think.
Yeah.
But even
I mean,
just
people-
shaders and
People still ask me about Kabir's Glass Aegis that came out in season 2
Yes.
because I used to rep that all the time. I still do, and then they re-released it, and I was like, "Damn it!"
yeah.
But also, I'm happy for you. But also, damn it. Yeah. No, I would be.
I love stuff like that,
like-
especially if it's pretty. I'll grind for it all day.
Yeah. I think I'd be okay with it right now just because we haven't really had any of it in quite a long time. And even in D1, we didn't have it a whole ton. So, the novelty would be cool for a little bit. And then I think people eventually be like, I've done 40 runs of this and please give it, please.
Yeah.
So maybe if they
40
did it,
is nothing.
I know.
To me, it works better when it's cosmetic than when it's like a exotic weapon that
Yes.
Mhm.
like
Something
to
show
have
off,
a really low chance of dropping.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, they've done it every once in a while. I think they're running out of the resource, but like an emblem, a shader, or like I was thinking of Wrath of the Machine when you got, was it the shader, the glowing one? Yeah, it's the glowing shader that you could only get if you had a full set on hard mode, I think. But it was still, you got it. I think you got it if you got a full set. But the point stands. Like even a cool shader that's super rare could be a lot of fun. So hopefully more of that to come. It doesn't seem that hard to do.
Tito says, assuming the Umbral system is part of the next season, what are your thoughts about having multiple sets of weapons and armor that change every reset? I've gotten so many great rolls, there's no longer a reason to farm anything specific.
Like
On the
new
armor?
stuff every reset.
Yeah, would it be like rotating, like it'd be week 1 and then week 2 and then back to week 1 kind of deal? Because it would literally not be possible to have new weapons every single week unless they recycled literally everything.
Unless
in the
they're
game.
like, this week you can get a hand cannon. This
Right,
week
yeah,
you
one
can get
gun.
the pulse rifle.
You know what it is? I think, but I think it's been really gracious of them. You get really good rolls pretty easily. Like Cold Denial, I doubt I was lucky. I was like, just rolls with Feeding Frenzy like all the time, and whatever else, it may not have your God roll, but you're like, that's pretty darn good. I feel like a lot of the stuff dropped like that. Maybe, I mean, you're gonna hate to hear it, but like maybe they need to dial it back so it's more rare. But it's also been nice. Like I've played, I think it's arguable, and maybe there's a sample set of data they're working with here, but like I played this season more than any other season, barring the launch of Shadowkeep, because of the way the recaster works, and it really interested me. So there's something to feeling rewarded, especially playing content I've already done. So I've been pretty happy with it. So I don't know.
I think it's a better system than we had in season 9, where the game was just giving you too much stuff, especially if you invested in the obelisks very, very well. Because literally the last
For you.
month of season 9, you could just farm god rolls by nonstop pressing a button in the tower, just as many as you wanted.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
keep it rolling. And I thought like that was just a little too easy. and I think this is a little bit of a better system where you can get better rolls, but you do have to work for it a little bit more. But yeah, it is also just like you're getting a bunch of engrams, you bring them back to the tower, and most of them like have pretty decent rolls on them. So like, yeah, I worry about things getting too easy that we go back to a system where you just load into the tower, throw in a bunch of currency, and oh, I'm completely decked out just by grinding, public events and bounties, right? There's some merit to that, but I would also like to see the more difficult stuff be more rewarding than the less difficult stuff.
Definitely.
Inverted DJ says, what is your controller layout when you're not playing mouse and keyboard? Inverted controls, bumper jumper, southpaw, crazy sensitivity, or do you just run default everything?
I
Default
use one of
everything.
these. It has paddles.
Scuf.
Paddles are great. You know
Danielle,
what it's
What's
really
the
good
Scuf
for?
code? What?
It's really good for Apex, especially any BR, because you're like constantly having to pick up loot, right? And like having to take your thumb to pick up loot is a real pain in the ass. So get you some
Danielle
paddles.
has my Astro controller. Otherwise, default everything, inverted Y movement. Otherwise,
No
I play
way.
claw.
I use inverted as well, too. I got used to it somehow.
Not in Destiny, right?
Yeah, in Destiny.
What?
And play inverted everything. Every
Yeah.
shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
probably
Those
most
are-
RPGs.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny because I used to like back, N64, PlayStation 1 days, all that, and then I totally just got off of it. It's hard for me to imagine. So wait, when you aim up, when you aim up, you
Think
press
of
down
the
like a ship.
thumbstick
Yeah.
as the top of your head. So
Yeah,
if you push
totally.
it
Yeah,
forward,
I get-
you look down. If
Yeah.
you pull it back, you look up.
Right.
Yeah, I think of it as like
No,
a
I used to play
camera.
GoldenEye that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think of it as a camera. If I'm pulling back on the camera, when I'm going down, pointing up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's funny that it literally is a binary input, and everybody says, "Well, why would you do it that way?" But you're like, "I just do it the other way. What's the difference?" Like, your brain is not confused more so. It's just because you're like on the outskirts, maybe, of the amount of people that do it. But
I think
nice.
it goes
I'm
back to
surprised.
playing Afterburner on the Genesis. Is that
It means you're old.
like I
you
wanted
play
I wanted
inverted,
flight
it
yoke
means you're old.
controls.
Probably.
That may be. That may be.
Dude, we need to find the kids that are playing like Fortnite on their phone and iPad with inverted like.
Well, they just
touch.
banned that.
Good
so
luck
that-
with that.
We're not taught by
they did just
anybody.
ban that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good point. Spicy subject, exactly.
I'm with Watts though. I can't really do a controller without paddles on the back of it anymore. And now there's a lot of options for that. I really like the, my Scuf Impact controller because it's comfortable on PS4. On the Xbox, I use the Xbox Elite controller, which is really nice too. And then PlayStation actually released like add-on paddles that you can put on the back, which is really nice too.
Mhm.
But man, I got used to them in the Call of Duty days. The Scuf controllers with the paddles on the back, and I've had a controller break and like had to send it in for repair, and not had it for like a month and been like,
Ruins you.
this sucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, when I can bumper jumper in a shooter, I think like Titanfall, I did something like that. Because like I don't want to take my hands off constantly, but in general, I just play stuff claw like all the time.
Really?
I don't know where it started, and I can't stop it like every game. And I play mouse and keyboard for Destiny. Like,
So you don't remember making a conscious decision to give yourself tendinitis?
what I do remember though is getting massive tendinitis playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on the Dreamcast, Tony Hawk's
Oh.
Pro Skater 2, and that controller, first of all, the batarang that it was would kill your entire.
That was a
you.
poorly designed controller.
Very
That
poorly
one-
designed. But then I would
Right
try
here.
to play that claw. Yes, so I would play with.
Oh
Thank
my
you, Brian.
God.
Thank God you have it right. Of course you do.
Of course he does.
And he's got in the
Two VMUs.
Yeah.
the VMUs.
But the
Visual
biggest
memory
problem with
unit.
this controller is that it's not angled outward for your palms, it's angled inward. So like your elbows almost have to touch to use it correctly.
Yeah.
It's a horrible design.
It's great. Your elbows have to touch. You're like-
Yeah, it is.
Can you
It's really
imagine? Like,
weird.
I can't even touch my elbows. Like, that's how flexible I am.
Fran's boobs
But,
are too
yeah.
big.
What?
That's why.
And the
my
cord
booty.
comes out the bottom, which is weird.
None of it makes sense. But yeah, that's,
I mean, it's
yeah.
clearly
playing claw.
they clearly got the Xbox controller like off of this design, right? It's like it's a clear like step in that direction. But man, this was not a good controller.
You know what the honest to God's truth though? The first people to claw, and if you did claw, we didn't have controllers like Scuf and additional buttons, right?
'Cause
so
you're poor.
that was the solution. That
Or old.
but you also we didn't have those options, you know. Back like when Dreamcast was out, there was no other option. By the way, the other option was a Mad Catz controller that like felt like it was like made in like
Never.
Had
Yeah,
rubber
you don't even
thumbsticks
know.
though.
I feel like your 4-year-old brother made it.
It was like Mattel. Yeah, it was like my first controller feel.
The Dreamcast has a
And
plastic
it made weird
thumbstick.
sounds. Yeah. But my point is that clawing actually was efficient, like having extra buttons, because like right, you don't have to move your
Yeah.
phone.
I mean, yeah.
So
But there was
It's
no,
bad for you, and
brilliant
it was
move.
great.
bad for you.
there was
I
no
did do
second thumbstick though on the Dreamcast. Why would you need a claw?
Apparently,
At all.
to call back to that solo access, apparently I was one of the first people to just do default and claw when I actually was
Yes.
doing it. Like some people were like,
And
"What?"
inverted. Right?
All right, well, the inverted's not that impressive, but yeah,
It's interesting.
I wasn't doing it to challenge myself. That's just how I play.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how you could be like surprised somebody does inverted and use claw. Like to me, that is a way wilder thing to do claw
It's
and
because
inverted.
we're old and they are not. It all comes down to being old. Telling you.
Oh man, I lost my spot.
Just do Control F old.
Oh, here we go.
Let's see.
Blink 140. Blink 148 says, I wouldn't expect this to happen, but with Destiny's growing issues, I see no solution in sight unless Bungie doesn't make Destiny 2. Oh, wait. Unless Bungie doesn't make Destiny content 2 seasons after Beyond Light to rework the game. I don't trust Bungie to not let history repeat itself. That's my short version. That's the short version.
What?
That
What's
I just
what-
almost had a stroke listening.
I had to
to
read
it.
this a few times. I think what he's saying is that he wants Bungie to just stop making content and just fix issues for like
what's-
2 seasons.
What's so bad that we need to just like
he doesn't go into that. Maybe
shut
we need
down
follow
the
up.
studio, Bungie, go dark, get in the grind for
I-
20 hours, crunch those numbers.
I think I understand. Like just a very general, like, you know, there's been a lot of error codes and bugs with certain things happening here and there. And so I'm guessing that they are asking for a season where instead of creating new content, they focus on trying to fix some things that have been issues over the past few seasons instead. Do I think it works that way? Probably not. I don't think designers are really bug fixers, or the people who create content are really people who fix the bugs. Not really sure. I'm not a developer. But I imagine that's the angle that they're going for.
Do you know how excited Bungie would be if you gave them like a season off to just focus on fixing stuff? They would be. They would. That you're not going to complain about wanting new content. You're like, yeah, you were just like working on like some basic fixes, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You're
would be
gonna
stoked with this
complain. You're
plan.
gonna buy a bunch of stuff in the
Yeah.
Eververse store to
Yes,
pay
you'll
for
support
all
us
of
the
these
whole
bug
time.
fixes.
Right.
What a nice guy. Okay, I take it back. This guy's great.
Yep.
This is very nice
Yeah.
of you.
I think what I do think
Maybe they
will
work on
help.
Bungie, whoever this is.
What I,
It's possible it's their
It's
recognition.
Stage.
whenever someone's getting real cheeky with me, I just say, "All right, here's the link for you," and I just link them to the career page.
Yeah.
But I
genius
do
response.
think that the removal of a lot of destinations and a lot of maybe the bulk of the game that's not getting used will probably help more than we anticipate, because that's just
Yeah.
fewer things that are in the way to get messed up that might affect other things at the same time. Like removing 5 destinations, pretty big deal. That's a lot of
A lot
things
of-
removed that you no longer have to worry about now. So I anticipate that the removal of a lot of those destinations will help with the stability of the game.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That was, I mean, they stated that
Agreed.
clear. They're like, it's really hard to like change stuff and fix stuff when you got to move to all these different spots.
Also, these
so,
new consoles are shipping with SSDs, and they're not big.
consoles.
Yeah,
Wait, aren't they terabytes large for the SSD?
I think they're 8 terabyte.
That's it's not
That's-
bad.
That's like
Bungie
like
will
a
take up
Call
a
of
tenth
Duty.
of that with the current Destiny install.
Yeah,
That's
Call of
one
Duty will
Call
take
of
up
Duty.
Well,
half of it.
yeah, right.
Z Plays says, controversial, kind of out there. Would you accept a system where you could pay for obtainable weapons and armor in the game if it were to quell the use of recov services and cheating in game?
No. You're then creating a game I don't want to play anymore.
You're creating a pay-to-play game. It's not kind of out there. It's all over the place. There's plenty of those that exist, and it's
not to mention like you could potentially create a black market that way. Well, I guess I mistake that for like player trading. That's something I hear a lot about as well. Is like, wouldn't it be better if we could just trade items? Well, maybe, but now you've just created a completely new black market where people are spending money to get carried through a raid and then have a bunch of loot thrown on them from everybody else. So yeah, no, in no way would I move in favor of that at all.
Nope.
Agreed.
S2H says, what happened on getting Old Chicago? Did they ever say they were bringing Old Chicago? I don't remember them
Was
ever
that
saying
a band that Fran was going to be in?
Ooh, Chicago.
Oh, savage. Wow. Okay.
Chicago cover
band.
That sounds like a fantastic blues band. I could totally see Fran in a blues band called Old Chicago.
All right, actually.
There was an actual band called Chicago. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we all know about Chicago.
Okay.
And they are Old Chicago, so they already exist.
Technically, yeah. I think wasn't that just like a bunch of concept art?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those.
Nice.
I feel like a lot of those things, whenever I hear like, whatever happened to this old thing? Like, I'm pretty sure that was just a piece of concept art.
I feel like it
Concept art
looked
does
a
not
lot like
equal
European
be in
Dead
the game.
Zone too, right?
Was this
Probably.
shown, I wonder if they remember around that Fire Team chat. Sorry, they did. We had an anniversary episode. It was like 100, and they
How
came on
dare
showed all
you.
the concept art. Was it one of those files?
I
Yeah,
assume it was. I remember it being concept.
that was really
art.
cool. But I'm actually looking at it right now. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think we forgot about a lot of that stuff. But let's be happy. that
Maybe
we're
it'll come
finally-
eventually.
Yeah,
That was so
Yeah,
long
nothing's
ago.
been
It was like a
couldn't-
different company.
yeah, that's true. I think they have piles of this stuff. But man, that would be exciting to go play now. I'm looking at it. So I bet you one day, actually, because Deej is from around Chicago, I'm going to say that. Deej has that much influence that.
He can
I
be
think
like,
he
I
is.
like Chicago, put Chicago
Make
in
it
game,
happen.
please. And we'll be
Well,
like,
what I was trying to
"Well,
remember, wasn't the company originally in Chicago? Wasn't that where Bungie started?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think
because that's
so.
where Marcus
I
Lato
don't
is
know.
now, who's doing Disintegration and all that. I'll look it up while we talk, but I might have that wrong.
Are
You
you
might be
talking
right.
like
I don't know.
before?
You mean like way
before
back in the
Marathon?
Wayback Machine?
Way back, yeah.
Way
I'll look
back.
it up. I'm pretty
When they
sure.
were
Yeah,
making
it was
games
from
way
for
back,
Mac?
yeah.
1991 in Chicago. So there you go. That's what I was getting at.
What was their
It's a
first
high,
game?
high chance of happening. It's funny. All I ever remember is Marathon. I'm gonna look it up. Their first.
That's all I
game.
remember too.
We'll look at it. It wasn't. Oni was after, I think, right?
Oni was like 2000
Yeah.
Oh, actually, they worked on. I don't know what.
or 98 maybe.
First Unique is, but the first 3 games before Marathon listed were for OS, Mac. Operation Desert Storm, Minotaur, The Labyrinths of Crete, and Pathways into Darkness.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. All those were like Jason Jones and yeah, Alex Seropian. I think they're all original. I'd like to go back and look that up.
Dadticle 275 says, with sunsetting being pushed back due to Beyond Light delay and the season length being expanded, would you put Briar in a traditional smoker grill, low and slow cook him, or would you use a ground Hawaiian luau style?
Ooh.
Oh, put him in the ground.
Oh.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch, Dad Tactical.
I like that because then we can like,
Like,
you
where
know,
is this one going?
you can like have like a beach luau thing happening and like play volleyball
Yeah.
and like he's just
I
Down
want
there,
Briar with pineapple.
cooking. Oh yeah, that's right. You get your pineapple.
Just like the best pizzas.
Get a giant pineapple and stuff Briar with pineapple.
Ooh,
Delicious.
juicy.
Hero time.
Datto recipe. Recipes, Datto? Briar recipe.
No, I played the 5th.
Don't want to come back to haunt you. Those clips.
Hero Time 39 says, does Datto feel that DCP suffered a defeat at the hands of the Dream Team in their podcast showdown? Okay. They did not have a podcast. It was not a
Yes,
podcast
I know.
showdown.
No, it wasn't.
Wait,
I also
when-
wasn't there, so I don't think it counts.
What?
Yeah.
So I must have missed this. What's the context here?
Absolutely
Yeah, I
nothing.
don't
Next
know.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I don't even know
happened
what this
like
is either, Dan.
5 years ago. It wasn't officially a podcast showdown.
Mr.
Watts
Fruit
wasn't
was
there.
called
Years
Mr.
ago. Okay.
Vegetable. It
Yeah,
doesn't even
right?
count. Yeah, this is not even a thing.
Oh, the dream.
Mr.
Okay.
Produce. I think that's what his shirt says.
I remember back in Destiny 1, one of my clanmates decided he wanted to start a YouTube channel. So he texts me like his first video, and it is a Mr. Fruit thumbnail with like the fruit on the corner. I'm like, yo, man, you can't use that.
They were really gonna use it? What?
Yeah,
Yoink
well, he
thumbnail?
didn't get. I don't think he knew who Mr. Fruit was. He didn't really get. He just saw like a piece
Googled
of,
like thumbnail.
Yeah, just Google it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Used to be able to get away with that too.
probably.
Back in the
Oh,
day.
people yoinked my thumbnails all the time. The exotic
Yeah.
thumbnails.
I still see your stuff get yoinked.
Yeah.
the yellow background with the
I
one,
mean,
two,
it's not the
three.
most original, but
Still, it's kind of a brand.
Iconic. That's what's important.
1, 2, 3 says, when is the cutoff for asking questions on the podcast? I picked
Right
this
now.
one. It's
Right
7
now.
o'clock. It's
Yeah.
7 o'clock Eastern time. Usually I sit down from 7 to 7:30, an hour before the show, and I pick the questions.
There you go. Now you know.
Scott says, question for Datto, what's the funniest moment that's happened since Jez and Amy moved in? Also, welcome back, Fran.
I would say honestly, go check out Jez's latest video where he did like a little sit down with like me and Danielle, and we just kind of vibed on his stream, just like chatting back and forth about stuff. I think that video turned out really, really well. So yeah, probably that little chat session that we had that he turned into a video.
Fran, go pee. Jesus.
I'm good. I am. What you saw me in chat. I'll be right back.
You don't have to ask permission. You're an adult now.
We don't need to take you. It's fine. You can do it. Believe.
Demetria says, can we end the debate here and now? ACP, CAP, or PAC?
Cap or you're banned.
Cap.
Cap or banned.
Definitely
Cap is a word. It's the easiest thing.
It's the easiest sound to remember. You're taking someone through the raid for the first time. You're like, just remember cap. Just remember cap. Way easier.
Duo Shade. With sunsetting looming to start next season, how come there's no pineapple in pizza rolls?
Because Briar's not on the spit yet.
Because you'd have to chop them up so small, and by then, like the whole like everything, I don't think it would work out.
I think it's because pizza rolls suck and they don't deserve pineapple.
Okay, that is toxic to pizza rolls. First of all, second of all, disagree. But I think pineapple, trying to fit the whole pineapple into a pizza roll situation is probably just not
You would need
worth
tiny
the effort.
pineapple. That's true.
Yeah,
But if
Grow
they
them
did
small
it,
like those
I'd
little baby
totally buy
corn.
them.
yeah. It'd be too small. I think it just. I don't know. I don't think it would work.
Magilla Gorilla 45 says, if they did a DCP live action movie, what would be the plot of the movie and what movie star would play you? Let's just do the plot of a movie. What would be the plot of a DCP movie?
We go on an epic adventure. We somehow end up crash landing on an island. Comes down to we don't really have much food. And that's when we have a Hawaiian bake-off with Briar.
I should have seen that
There you
coming.
go.
I can't believe I didn't see that
right
coming.
away. I already knew where it was going.
It would
Adam had a
just be
light
the
bulb.
movie Alive refilmed with us.
And it's just the whole crash landing is just the first 5 minutes of the movie. The rest is just a giant party eating Briar.
It looks like
The
a
next
morning
2
show with
hours.
people like showing different recipes.
Yeah.
Blandy McBlanderson says, if DCP could assemble into a giant robot like Voltron to defeat the enemies of humanity, what animal form would the giant robot have, and what body part would each of you control?
Briar's definitely going to pick the butt. Whatever it does. You know that's where he's going.
It'd be
Yeah.
jet propulsion
right.
Ugh.
out of the butt, as opposed to the
That'd be
feet. No one would see it coming.
Plus, he'll open all the doors.
I'd only turn it on when we're like going in for a hug or something like something. We'd be like a hydra with like multiple heads, all like trying to do different things at the same time.
Yeah,
That
that
sounds
makes
right.
sense.
Or like a
Yeah.
rat king with like the tails all tied
Yeah.
together.
Oh, he
Exactly.
said it right.
Perfect.
That's it.
That's it.
Bye, everybody.
Slim Sickle says, every time I get invited to a house party, I ask if I should bring anything to contribute, snacks, drinks, cups, etc. 9 out of 10 times I'm told no, but I still feel a little uncomfortable doing so. Is it weird showing up empty-handed?
No.
No.
If they said don't bring anything, then I don't think you need to feel obligated to bring something. If you wanted to have something maybe in your car that's not gonna like melt in the heat of the summer, like napkins or plates or whatever, I think that'd be okay. But if they say no, if they insist no, and you don't bring anything, then I think that's
Just
okay.
bring your good times.
Yeah.
So all I need.
I always
Yeah.
bring
They
something.
said no.
I
didn't
think
either,
yes.
but-
I
You better
always
take
bring
it back
something.
then, Briar. If
Like-
you're bringing it and I told you no, you better take it back.
Like if it's something like even like a 6-pack of beer, like I know like they like beer or wine, or you know like if they're having like whatever, like I'll just bring something.
Here.
Luau.
I'll give a suggestion. Bring something that you would eat or drink or use at the thing, so
Yeah.
that way
A lot of weed.
you
There
can
you go.
show that you are
A
contributing to
pound
it.
of Coke in a plastic bag and silly straws for everybody.
That's Briar turn it up to the door. Hey guys,
All right.
I know you said
I
not to
was-
bring anything, but I bought the party.
I was thinking more like a bottle of soda, but we can make it
Yeah.
Coca-Cola if that would make you feel more comfortable.
It's still
Truly
useful for
Coca-Cola.
silly straws.
That's
John
funny.
O'Neill says, who of all of you, this includes Fran, Pope, Holtz, and Datto, would be the best co-pilot for Elon Musk's maiden voyage to Mars?
To actually get there or for it to be hilarious?
Co-pilots to Mars. Yeah, what would
well,
be, it's
if you
gotta be
actually-
entertainment value.
If you actually needed to
Gotta
get
be.
to Mars, I don't know how much I would trust Holtzman based on some raids that I've done with him.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely not.
dang,
Definitely
man,
not.
really?
No.
Especially when him and Fitzy get together. So I don't know if Holtzman's in.
I gotta go Fran here. Fran's gonna project manage this
That's
to
true.
right to
Oh,
Mars.
no. That's so boring, though.
Yeah,
Gotta
but
go
I
for
mean,
entertainment
this is
value.
Yeah,
dangerous stuff,
m-
man. I don't want Pope in charge of this.
Do you want, do you want entertainment value or do you want to get to Mars?
Halfway through, Pope's gonna be like, "I got a great idea."
Do
no,
you
gotta
want
go
to
back.
have? Do you want a co-pilot or do you want a Coke pilot? Because Briar can give you the second one, and that would be a good time.
we got to
Really
turn back. We forgot the silly straws.
Yeah. But I will say I might pack way too much, which is
That's
it's a
probably
problem.
not great.
No, you should see
Very
my
strict
vault. Like you should.
Weight
yeah.
requirements.
One of you's probably seen me in an airport at TwitchCon or Guardian Con and been like, "Do you have a piano with you? What are you bringing with?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, you
It's
you
just
have a
Fran
couple
always has to be prepared.
Do you
black
bring?
sandals,
Do you check
brown
baggage?
Sandals.
Like,
Oh,
let's say
yeah.
you're going for a
It's
weekend,
not even
or like a 2-day thing.
yes.
You
Oh,
check
yeah.
baggage for that.
Always.
Oh,
Well, I'll
definitely.
tell you why.
2-day.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to get too far
What?
off on this tangent. But
What
the
if
first of it, I
someone's
used-
like, "Hey, Fran, do you want to go to the beach?" Even though we weren't planning on going to the beach at all, and you don't have anything prepared for a beach outing.
for a few days?
Here's what I would say.
What if they have a pool?
No.
Or yes, but hold on, I gotta swing by and buy a swimsuit on the way.
Yes, that's happened to me too much. But for starters, it's hair products. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
so
that takes
I
up at
have
least
to like
half.
have
Same.
hairspray. I need like a mousse, and then exactly. So that happens. But then I also, I don't like to be like, even if it's a remote possibility that you're gonna get in a pool or you need sandals or, I got them. Dress shoes.
How much?
It sucks, man. It
How much
sucks to be
space
me.
does a
Let me tell you.
bathing suit take up? Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
Shoes,
you
though.
still
Though.
have them. Maybe
But
need
my
different colors.
backpack is full. I got the gaming laptop. I got my camera, my vlog setup, right? Like the.
Yeah.
I
okay.
always come prepared, man. It's a
They've
curse.
relaxed. I feel like you can get away with bringing more stuff carry on now too. Like you can kind of bring 2 bags carry on now.
I don't know what
I
they
have
allow
I,
in
s-
2020, but
I stuff a backpack full. I stuff backpack full as I can get. That goes under my seat,
Yeah.
and then I have a regular suitcase that I put up in the
Carry on.
thing up there. Because
Yeah,
I'm
that's
usually
2
on a
bags.
plane sooner than other people, so there's always space.
I do the same. I have like a camera
sure.
backpack, which is perfect because you can really like shove a ton of stuff in there.
I used to do that, but then I started to realize, I would go on. I've traveled a lot, by the way. I would go on a trip, I'd forget something, and eventually I broke down and I said, I'm getting the medium large size, and I'm packing it with. And the other part, I pack it with everything. The other part is I hate thinking about what I want to bring, believe it or not. So I just throw everything in there because guess what? It's a bag. It's coming no matter what. And so I can half full or all full. I don't care if it's 1 day or 2 days. I just throw everything in there.
You know what I've started doing,
You
Fran?
don't have to worry. Then
You get the
have it.
largest carry-on suitcase that you can
I
take.
would never.
And then you also
Come
get
close.
a backpack. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
You
No,
know,
I already
then you don't
do
need to
that,
check
Watts.
that. Yeah.
You didn't
I
ask me
just-
what I also bring on the plane. it's all full. The
Okay,
whole
that's
thing's full.
worse than me. Oh.
My father gave me the best tip. He does like motivational speaking for a living, and he travels literally year round. Like he's always on the road. He's home for 1 week a month every year, or 1 week a month all throughout the year. And he told me he travels carry on. And I asked him, how do you do that? Like you're on the road for like 3 weeks at a time. He's like, what is there at this destination that I can't buy? Like, am I gonna forget a toothbrush? Oh well, I'll just buy one at the hotel lobby. Or, if I need something, I can always get it there. And you
That's
get
what
a
I used
chance
to
to like experience like the local town when you're out shopping for whatever you forgot.
For your toothbrush.
Yeah.
This is a lovely Walgreens.
I guess
really
so.
Wish it's more time to check this Walgreens out.
I just don't like waiting at the carousel for my bag.
I hate it.
don't,
Yeah.
just don't want to do that. Or like check a bag and it costs you like $50 round trip. Not about that life.
It is true. It gets costly to bring the bag. I will admit that.
For the
know about
Borderlands
that.
thing, I was warned ahead of time to bring a bag, and I did check a bag for that, and I was glad I did because I came home with a lot of shit from that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
did give you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm ended up places where like I get something to bring back, and then I'm like,
Yep.
I think I had to buy. Oh yeah, Germany. I had to buy a bag once, and I was like,
Wow.
Japan,
I'm
we
just
bought
gonna
like
bring
2
it.
suitcases.
You guys bought suitcases. Yep, I was just gonna say.
Every time we go to Japan, we
That's-
come back with
that's a
another
must.
suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I here's what I've started saying to the to like bringing home all that extra stuff. I just say, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want another shirt. I don't want a jacket.
Thank you.
I don't want
No.
this. I don't want that. I'm good. No, thank
It's
you.
true. Because
If
you
you
know it's
hand me
going
something,
in a pile.
Exactly. Like it's gonna go in a pile in a drawer.
That
I'm gonna
same
take it
stuff.
out in 3 years and be like, have I ever worn this? Give it a
Yeah.
Goodwill. Like
Jazz, do you want this? I don't know. All right.
Every once in a while, though, I do get something really good. Like at that Borderlands event, they give me a external hard drive, and I use that thing all the time.
I do use that. I actually have that on my computer right now. It's great.
It's like a 3 terabyte hard
Useful.
drive or something like that. It's great. Muttbeard says, a grumpy leprechaun offers you a sum of money, but says that as soon as you accept the money, you will learn exactly when every major event in your life will happen, including your death, with no way to alter them. How much money would it have to offer you for you to accept?
Can I just not take the money at all?
Yes.
I think that's an option.
No, I don't take the money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like reading the manga and then watching the anime. It just really,
Right, 100%.
yeah.
Totally, very relatable.
Yeah, it sounds
Things
like
that you
yeah,
said. I understand that.
you'll ruin your life, but you'll
Yeah.
get money to maybe.
You're not going to ruin your life. Think about it. If you know that you're going to die at a specific point, and it's for sure, you're positive, you are now invincible. You can do anything
What-
That's
and
a
know
good
you're going to survive.
counterpoint.
Does
True.
well,
Half full perspective.
I
like
think
this.
if it's predetermined, but like okay, we'd have to clarify some rules then.
It
Would
says-
you be literally invulnerable to death until you hit that point?
You
Yeah.
Or if you just
change
got
it.
hit by
Yeah.
a bus,
Briar
you're
just
just
made
like,
that rule
well,
up,
I got
so-
hit by a bus and now I'm dead earlier.
It says you'll learn exactly what every major event in your life will happen, including your death, and there's no way to alter them.
Now I'm just throwing. You're cheating. Now
I'm not
that's
cheating.
how this works. No,
That's
you
exactly
still-
how it works.
Yes, it is how it works. You have to be a reasonable human being. You can't say
When?
well,
Why would I start that now?
exactly.
Either way,
And I don't
I'm
like it.
still no.
You can't decide to take whatever $5 million and who also can jump in a pool of lava and swim around because you're like.
Of course you
you're-
can.
The rules of like.
He
this
said you
is all
can't
changed.
alter it.
Right.
So there you go.
Fran, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You still got to be a reasonable like human being, which you're right.
I
Briar.
don't
That's
not
why we
believe
love
so.
you. It's not happening.
Wade says DCP is moving house. Who rolls up the sleeves and gets into it? Who stands in the corner pretending to help? Who drops the glassware? Who does the food run?
Fire.
And who forgot to get the internet connected at the new place?
Pope forgot to get the internet connected.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's planning like some extravagant house party with celebrity guests when we
He's
get
already
there,
off
so
on
he
something.
forgets
And
about
there's
the
no
internet.
electricity.
Yeah. Which you will find out when you're moving in. None of that
Yes.
will be
Yeah.
clear ahead of
You'll be you've spent 15,000 hours moving, and then Pope Bear's like, "Hey, we got a party. You better
Yeah.
get to it." I want to.
You would have even had conversations about
Please.
you're like, oh, I'm gonna stream like that night. I'll have this office. I can use it right. Yeah. You talked to Pope about it, but then once you're finally there set up, you'd be like, oh yeah, the internet. It's not gonna be ready. You'd be like, what? We talked about it. I was going to. All right.
I
so
think
Briar,
I think I'm gonna do the food run because I think I could make a mean barbecue brie.
that's the move-in meal for sure. But
Oh,
Briar,
definitely.
you dropped the glass window or whatever it was, right?
Glassware. Yeah. that
Glassware.
sounds like
Oh,
me.
I mean,
And
you
it's because
have
he got angry
it's
that
on
that's
camera.
what he was gonna get eaten on. So he was like, "No, I refuse." And then
Had a temper tantrum.
yeah.
What were the other duties? Standing in the
Uh,
corner.
Standing in the corner pretending to help and
That's
rolling up
Patrick.
their sleeves and getting into it.
It's funny because I only know Holt so well, but I was like, it kind of sounds like it'd be. Patrick. And I
No,
barely
Patrick is
know.
actually very helpful.
Yeah.
He would help a lot more than me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'd be working hard on that.
That's
Are
true.
we burying Briar in the backyard to cook him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. Pull my back out doing that.
Teft would be telling me exactly where to put the boxes, but then we'd be working
Yes,
hard
he'd
together.
be standing in the corner
But
telling
he would-
Fran
yeah.
where to
He'd
put
be
the
like,
boxes.
No, but he'd be very hands-on. But I mean, are you gonna set it down like that? Like, I mean, that's ceramic tile, and you've got carpet right next to it. And if you just move 3 feet, yes, right there's optimal. You know what, guys? I'm not liking the acoustics in this room. Let's have our team meeting downstairs. Get the drapes.
I love
It would
how
go
the
very
tradition is still alive. If you don't show up, expect to be
Oh,
made
yeah.
fun of.
You're roasted.
Nanuda Club says, pick your poison, ranch or blue cheese. By the way, it's my birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Blue ranch or cheese or blue cheese
Blue,
or
'cause
ranch.
we don't know what it's for.
ranch.
I don't like either.
Yeah, you don't do either.
I prefer
I'm not-
blue
I'm
cheese.
not into either.
Ranch is kind of gross. It's just, it's not really good on anything.
Yeah, I'm blue cheese because like I'm hoping there's some wings coming down the pipe.
Yeah, me too.
That's the first thing across. Like
My
ranch, I'm
wife
like,
has started adding ranch to all sorts of shit. She's dipping pizza in it. She's
Pizza.
putting it in
People
pasta
do this.
sauce. She puts it in pasta sauce and makes like a pink sauce.
I'm out. That's it.
That's appropriate. I'm gonna clip this and send it to her.
Ranch in pasta. I mean, you can put milk in pasta sauce, bolognese. Anyway, not allowed.
I
also,
agree.
don't rinse your pasta. We got to talk what's going on in the house with pasta, Briar, after the show. Anyway, blue cheese.
Hugo Rune 79 says, "What is your third earliest memory?" It's not your earliest memory or your next earliest one, but the one after that.
That's asking a lot of first memories. Is that you prioritize them in some like
Yeah. One of my earliest memories, I don't know if it's my first or my third, but I went into my mother's room. I was supposed to be taking a nap, and I went into my mother's room. I took all of her makeup, and I put it all over my face, and then I came down the stairs, like pretended to be a monster, so I could scare her and get out of taking a nap. It didn't work. I was surprised.
I remember.
Oh, I want to hear these Datto memories.
No, I like one of the earliest that I remember is just being over at a friend's house when I was like 3 years old and hiding under a chair as they drove around an RC car in their living room.
It's funny what sticks.
That's all I remember.
It's funny. I have a bunch, not a bunch, but a handful before 5, and I just don't know what order they go in. But one of them I remember speaks to my being was we lived on a farm, and so you would just burn sticks and crap in like an old rusty giant can, like a big oil drum almost.
Oil drum.
And it had all these holes and it was rusty, so you could see the fire. It was so cool, and I just had to stick a stick in there. And I was a pyromaniac at heart, man, and I definitely burnt stuff later in my life. It was a lot of fun. But I remember that, and I remember very distinctly, like, I don't know what age I was. My grandpa took me out at like 5:40 in the morning, and the sun was coming up, and we had grapevines on the fence, and it was like the most beautiful, vivid memory I have. Like, for whatever reason, it all like was this amazing moment, actually, that it was so quiet and so beautiful, and it's stuck with me my whole life. So the last one is my brother and sister. There's just a couple stories, but first one that always comes to mind is we had these like oversized vents in our farmhouse, I guess. I don't know. They were big enough to put a child down, and that's just what they did. They like shoved me into this vent.
This is exactly Fran sized.
A floor heating vent thing, and they put me in it. Were like shoving me down, and I fit in there, I think. Close to it. Anyway.
I was going to say that's a very odd description for the size of something, but then you clarified. So
Child size, yeah.
it made a little more sense after you said
right? Yeah, I had to fit in there.
Dreadnought
Tell me
says,
more, Brad.
when you buy packaged food like bags of popcorn, sodas, or a bar of chocolate, do you prefer if the serving size of these foods are calculated as a whole, or do you prefer the nutritional facts tell you the serving sizes are 5 to 7 ounces per package?
Don't even get me started about serving sizes. I had a whole bit. It was in a highlight video where
That's why.
the serving
probably why
size of a DiGiorno pizza was a fifth of a slice.
Wait,
of
what?
DiGiorno
No,
pizza.
that's
A
not
fifth.
correct. How
of
do
a
you even
slice.
figure that out?
Are they pre-cut?
Good luck. No,
Right?
they're not. Good
So
luck
how many
trying to cut
slices are in a
pizza
DiGiorno
in a
pizza?
fifth?
Then?
As many as you want.
Yeah,
It's
but
your
like
pizza, it's
according,
your life.
like if there
That's
was
crazy.
if one slice of pizza was one serving size to them, how many slices would that make in a DiGiorno pizza according to their serving size?
It would be 5. Because
Okay.
1/5 is a serving size
Oh, so 1/5
mean,
of the pizza is a
of
serving.
the entire pizza.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I thought you were saying 1/5 of one
1/5 of a
slice of
slice.
pizza.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
No,
I
no.
thought that too.
Sorry,
It's still
1/5 of the pizza.
Yeah.
Yes, but who in their right minds is cutting a pizza into
To fit.
5?
Nobody.
I don't even know how to do. Yeah, why would it be in quarters at least? It makes somebody.
I'm trying to
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
I don't even know how to do that.
Whoever's in charge of that doesn't
Stop
really
it.
like the job. They did not like their job, and nutrition is not a priority. And they were like, "I'm gonna screw and see if anybody even notices." And nobody on the whole team noticed that. Like they put that down as the option.
I
That's
think
that's
even
like a
on the
brain
popcorn-
teaser. How do you cut a pizza into 5 slices?
even on the popcorn that Danielle gets, like one serving size was not a whole like thing that you put in the microwave. It was like most of it.
There must be some weird rules that we don't know about. But yeah, I have a food scale, so I thankfully can kind of figure that stuff out. But that's what pisses me off is when it doesn't easily just like equate to ounces or whatever it is. It's in sometimes weird, like it'll just give you like weird serving sizes.
They give you like the
To
metric
answer your
system or something.
question, just give me the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just the whole bar,
And
the
you'll
whole
figure it
bottle of soda, the whole
Just tell me what's
pizza.
in the whole thing, yeah, and then I'll figure it
Whole
out from
thing.
there.
I think they
Because
just don't want
I'm
you to
not gonna
know
read
how
it
many
anyway.
calories is in a DiGiorno pizza.
I'm not gonna read it.
Yeah.
You and I both know I'm not reading it. I'm buying DiGiorno pizza. I'm not calorie counting. Okay,
Exactly.
just the whole thing.
Zachary Richard says, "Hello, everyone. Who's everyone's favorite comedian? Every now and then, we all need a good laugh. Hoping you have an amazing day."
Probably Dave Chappelle.
Briar Rabbit.
Recently for me,
Fire
Tom
Briar.
Segura wasn't the hugest fan of his newest special, but I do need to watch it over again. But his first 3 specials, I think, are great. I've been liking his stuff very recently.
The way he like laughs at like surprise is really funny. Like I like him a lot too. His
Yeah.
show with Bert Kreischer, their podcast,
Mhm. Their
is really-
podcast, yeah.
really funny. They used to open it up and he'd make believe that Bert Kreischer just was something really racist, and then Black Lives
Yeah, I
Matter
saw a
happened.
little compilation. Yeah, I saw a little compilation of him opening up the show to something like super terrible.
Yeah. So
And,
he
yeah,
said,
it
"You
was
got to
great.
stop doing that. Like people think I'm really racist because you're doing this." So they changed it to Bert Kreischer fucks dogs.
Jesus.
Because that wasn't as bad as being racist.
Wow.
Well,
like
it's
if you
pretty
had
close.
Glad on your marketing campaign.
If it's not,
They're comedians, you know. They're just goofing around. Ringo the Dingo says your next 2-week-long vacation is fully sponsored. Only requirement is you have to go somewhere you've never been and start tomorrow. Where do you go and why? No COVID for the sake of the question. COVID, it's not COVID.
You get a 2-week vacation anywhere. You
2-week vacation for free.
Like easy.
You got to leave tomorrow. Where are you going?
Korea. Never been to Korea. Would like to go.
Food is so good. I'm gonna probably the Maldives because I think that's gonna sink eventually. Yeah, I think like
They
It's
do be
gonna go
globally warming pretty hard over
Yeah.
there.
It is. It has a timeline. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's Maldives.
I think I'm going to do a stop by at Pope Bear's new house. Just pop in.
You might as well.
Hey, Pope.
That sounds
You
like
mind if
a
I
good
sleep on the couch?
I think I'd pick Bali.
Ooh.
It's just such a beautiful place. I would love to just go there 2 weeks. Go to the best, most fanciest, most pretty place. That would be great.
I had a friend who lived there for quite a while, and
Really?
she seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really beautiful there.
Yeah, I think Maldives only has about 100 years. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know.
Nah, you got time.
In this, yeah, but you know,
You
the
have
way
time.
The world's the way that I don't know. I got to get on this plan of accepting money and jumping in lava with.
That's
Brian.
true.
It's very complicated.
Eaglevid says, do you guys use bug spoons or little spoons to eat cereal / soups?
Bug
Oh,
snacks?
You say bug
Next question.
spoons?
That's what it says,
What
bug
the frick
spoons.
is a bug? It's
I
all right. I love
assume-
bug snacks.
Big spoon. I use
Big
a bigger
spoon.
spoon. as
I
opposed
use
to a
big
smaller
spoon as well.
I like the little spoon.
No. Next question.
Oh, bug
You don't get enough. You don't get enough cereal on the spoon.
No, you can't properly have your milk and your cereal. It doesn't work out. Doesn't work out.
Yeah, pretty much big spoons.
I don't like the metal of the utensil to touch my teeth. I think that's why I like the little utensils.
Possible.
What are you doing with this?
Next question.
Okay.
Nova to the face says, I assume everyone here has worked in customer service. What's your most cringy customer interaction?
Oh, I stopped. They put me at the front, and I hated it. And I was like, "Can I just go wash dishes instead?" So I just ended up doing that. I would rather be in the back on my own washing dishes than dealing with humans.
Yeah, I don't.
That is
really
not why they
have-
hired me, though. So unfortunate for them.
I didn't work retail a ton, so but like nothing immediately sticks out as like, oh my god, this one time. Yeah, I don't really have any super crazy stories like that.
Yeah,
I worked at a
probably
hardware
was-
store, and it wasn't anything nuts.
Yeah, closest I got was a busboy, so I never had to do customer service stuff. Or, trust me, the stories would have been interesting. If I had to deal with like customers, I'd probably be arguing with them.
I actually haven't had like that many weird fan interactions either. Like the only weirdest one
you're
that I
not on
had.
Wiki Feet or anything like that.
No, like the weirdest one that I had was
That you
just like a
know.
guy who waited in line to take a picture of me, but he didn't want to. He just took it and then walked away.
Oh,
He
you
waited
say
in
hi?
line.
He didn't want to get him.
Yeah, he
or
just
her
said
on the
hello, and then he's like, "Can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Sure." And I expected him to walk over to me.
Oh, was this at
And
a
instead
con
he
when you
just-
were doing a meet and greet?
Yeah, this was at
Oh.
a Guardian Con a couple of years ago, and I was expecting him to walk over and hand someone the camera, and instead they just snapped a picture of me and were like, "Thanks," and then they left.
Hey, maybe you are.
And
on
I was
Wiki
like,
Feet.
"You didn't have to wait in
Or
line
the camera boy.
for that. You could
You could have just taken the picture.
have just taken the. I never
Dude,
would
I-
have known,
Yeah.
like at all. You could have just done it, but that was the
I have-
weirdest one that I had. So I guess that's not too bad.
I used to, like, in the morning, just, like, run to 7-Eleven before I took a shower or anything. But now I have to actually, like, take a shower and, like, get dressed before I leave the house. And that's kind of a
good.
bummer.
That's good practice. That's
So I
a
don't-
You know, it is.
I don't want
it
to
is
meet
the
somebody
worst,
for the
though.
first time, you know?
No, it is the worst. You go to somewhere. I've definitely been somewhere. It's where I had to go really early, and I'm just gonna go. I don't care, whatever. And you see someone wearing Destiny merch, and you're like,
Oh, shit.
Oh no.
Oh, you make.
Yeah.
the eye contact. And
Run away,
every-
run away, run away, run away.
Yeah.
Stay away
slightly
from the
look away.
Destiny merch people.
Like it's
Yeah,
6
yeah.
a.m. I'm here to get milk so the kids can have cereal before school. And oh shit, we're in a conversation about Destiny.
That's rough.
Oh,
What do you
Yeah,
think
you
about
gotta
the
put-
Eververse store?
What's
You gotta do
that?
the
Is that
hat,
what-
the
Yeah, you
hood,
do.
and, the
And now you can wear the
glasses.
mask. No one has any.
The
of that.
mask too. Yeah, you put
Mask,
on a
perfect.
hood and the mask, and you can tell who you are.
Good.
I should. You gotta tell the story really fast. The short version was, it was at a big event. I was with my boss at the time at IGN, another guy named Matt. We both went. Somebody's in like waiting in line with us, and we're getting up to the front, but they were like standing there. So clearly they wanted to say hello. And then they say, can I take a photo real fast? We're like, yeah, sure, come on over. And then we're all three there, and he says, no, just Fran. Matt had to step away. And he
I
just
hope you
wanted the
never let them
photo.
live that down, Fran.
Yeah, but I was the one who kind of had to live it down.
Oh, really?
And it was a fun story. But meaning later, I got a illustrated photo that this person did of me with like these pink polka dots, and I was like, he like took this photo that I had on IGN. Anyway, it was funny, and I was like, it was endearing. I was very flattered that they liked me that much. But
I was always being a Guardian Con and stuff. I was always concerned someone would do that because we were together at the DCP booth, so it's like prime opportunity for someone to just be like, no, just Holtzman. You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
Well, that's when people need to clarify. Can I get a picture with Holtzman?
yeah,
Yeah.
then
Right?
it's not
just
awkward,
like, can I
right?
get a
It's like-
picture? And then
Yeah.
everyone
You.
crowds around,
And
and,
then
it's weird.
and he's like,
yeah.
I don't want all of you. Go away.
Yeah, no, it's you specify. Like, I just want a picture with Watts. That's take the picture and done.
Yeah. I mean, the thing to
You gotta
do
clarify.
is, it's not like we're using rolls of film. Is get the group photo, be like, can I just get one with Holtzman as well? Just
Yeah, good
Right.
point.
Yeah.
that's like the classy way to do it.
That's
Yeah.
that's definitely the way to do it for
It's
sure.
okay, take that one, because in that case, it's a little less awkward for everybody. I mean, I feel like faced with a choice, like you want to be efficient with people's time, so you're like, just you, and I'll get out of your way. But like in that case, I'd say take the group photo and then say, can I get a quick one just with you? And then you don't have to feel weird.
Yeah.
Fair.
Last question of the night. Jay Cooper says, so you need to replace Pope Bear, eh? I think I got this. I'm never on time, but I will always leave things to the last minute. And bring food to make you guys forgive me. Does that get me the job?
Yeah, that's it.
I
pretty
think
good.
you're hired.
Pretty close.
That's it right there.
That's it.
All right.
That's
Good
just
show,
it.
everybody.
Oh, I
Alright.
did see something that happened that's not a question, but I had to bring it up to Datto. So there's someone on Twitter called Jason McBride who said, last year at Guardian Con, Datto filmed my proposal. Our wedding is in 30 days. Not a question, just wanted to say thank you.
Congratulations.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Someone came up and they were like, can you hold this real quick? I thought I was just gonna take a selfie with them, and then boom, right in front of me. I was like, oh shit.
That's
That's
cool.
awesome. That's awesome.
Congratulations. Yeah.
It is. It's
I'm
fun
glad
to
I saw
see people around too. At the airport going down to Guardian Con last year,
Yeah.
like, there were people at the airport, and we started just drinking at the bar, having a good old time before we got on the plane. And then we ended up sitting next to each other on the plane. Wasn't that weird?
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's gonna do it, guys.
I missed GCX this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
That's it. That's a show.
That's it. That's the show. We did it.
was
We
fun.
made it.
We sure did. It was. It felt like a long one. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't average. Average, but I'm gonna go eat some pasta.
Yeah, you put some ranch dressing on that.
God, we really got to talk to your
Have an intervention.
big time.
Are you able to read out subs, Briar? Do you have that as an option? We
No.
will read out your
Do it.
subs when Tefty returns.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for subbing. Thank you for all our Patreon members. You guys make the show possible. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Tell them where people can find you guys.
After Datto.
Data.
Data.
If you search Datto on the internet, I'm not the cybersecurity company.
That's awesome.
Contact
No
Data
problem.
with all your cybersecurity needs.
Please don't. I don't know anything.
You do have your own armor set in Destiny, though, which is pretty cool.
It's very close. Very close.
Best place to find me is right here on Twitch, twitch.tv/FM3. There's an underscore after it, but you'll find it. I normally stream like after 9 p.m. Pacific time. Find me late hours.
And I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts.
Thank you. And we'll see you next Monday for SideQuest.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks all.